It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome into Sports Time on a Thursday. Bryant and Brett with you for the next 3 hours, and we have a lot to get to. Football back tonight, Thursday night football, which you can hear right here on Sports 56. Here in just a couple of hours, you'll hear us, you'll hear Reb Talk, and then it'll be on to the NFL football game tonight between the Lions and Packers. That will kick off on this station at 7 p.m. But we also have 3 college football games tonight that will be a lot of fun on ESPN and ESPNU and CBS Sports Network. So a lot of football today. We also got to talk some baseball. A lot to get to, but Brett, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great, Brian. You're right. Back to football tonight, and just really kind of a primer to the weekend. And away we go for another exciting weekend and some baseball tonight with some key matchups. I think it's must-win for Seattle after benches cleared last night in their loss to the Astros. And it's really remarkable how Texas, after a little bit of a slide, had some hiccups, really moved away from the West, and now, practically have it won. Still a little work to do there, and, of course, some National League drama. And it wasn't quite as epic as Tuesday night, but it was almost as cruel last night for the Cubs.
Yeah, I mean, this whole series, it seems like, has been the Cubs getting up and leading pretty substantially, and then the Braves coming back and winning games. So, I mean, this week, a week that really for the Cubs they needed in terms of making that wild card run. It just seems like the Braves, who we thought maybe could just kind of go out there and that motivation level not be there, they're going out there and kind of giving the Cubs little to get excited about and then yanking it right away.
I understand why the Braves stayed plenty motivated, because they're essentially taking next week off.
Sure.
They won't get back into action at the very earliest before a week from tomorrow. Is that right?
That as far
at
as
the very earliest.
Yeah, that's correct. So I mean, it's going to be a while. So it
could even be Monday.
It could be. So
they're going to sit and watch a while.
Yeah, and I mean that week off. I mean, if you didn't come out and really kind of try in these games, kind of take this week off, that's 2 weeks off basically of baseball, then trying to get back into it. So you're absolutely right.
And we know around sports, the whole rust or rest or whatever it is, when you hit that off switch, boy, it's hard to get it back on.
Yeah, and that's in every sport, and we see it all the time.
Sure is.
Of these teams that, I mean, really look like world beaters and really look at the top of their game, and then they kind of hit that cruise control, and it's so hard to kind of get back in that fourth gear once playoffs roll around. So for the Braves, good, and Ronald Acuna Jr. getting his 70th stolen bag of the season and becoming the first player to go 40-70 with 40 home runs, 70 stolen bases. That was really fun to watch. And then what might have been even better than him getting that and seeing his celebration was watching the Cubs broadcast of that moment where they were just, I mean, why are we stopping a game for this? I mean, it's really not that special. I mean, why are we even stopping?
I didn't see that. I was on the Braves broadcast, and I thought they handled it so well. It was quite the scene. He went Ricky Henderson with raising the bag up over his head. I don't blame him. I wasn't on the Cub broadcast. I was on the Braves broadcast and was watching it live.
Brett, here is the Cubs broadcast last night after. So let me paint the picture for you. Ronald Acuna has just stolen second base. He's literally still standing on second base. I know you can't see it. You'll just hear it. But they never once actually show Ronald Acuna. They keep the camera off him. Maybe towards the end they put the camera on him. But here is this is the audio from Marquee Sports Network last night.
And we're really stopping the game to do a highlight montage.
Can we get the base after the game? I mean, this is pretty absurd. I mean, it's just a hell of an accomplishment.
Totally, but you can't stop the game and run a highlight montage.
So not very
That's
happy.
John Sciambi, isn't
it? I think so. I think you're absolutely right. He does most of their,
I'm sorry, John Sciambi.
Sciambi, yes.
I messed up. Yeah.
Yeah, he does most of the Cub games.
And he's great.
He is really
and
good.
a real I mean, a real baseball fighter. Of course, it's his life now, but there was a while where it wasn't. He was doing a lot of different sports, and he was always a big advocate for baseball. Well, I just disagree with him. I don't think they committed a war crime.
No.
I just disagree with him. Look, he's the first one in baseball ever
Literally,
to
do it. I mean,
it was man on the moon.
Yeah, I mean it's remarkable. I didn't see that. I was like you. I was watching the Braves broadcast when it happened, and so I didn't see that clip until it started circulating on Twitter late last night.
And it was at the most
morning.
critical point of the game.
It really was.
The pitch he hit to get on base. Did you see that?
Yeah.
After two sinker sliders, I mean, just that were unhittable. And then he comes back and I think kind of dug it out of kind of 2-iron, dug it out of the ground to line it to right. And then as soon as he got on base and he pulled out the cooking mitt, you knew history was getting ready to happen.
Yeah, it was such a cool moment. I mean, to see all those videos, like you said, him getting the base out of the ground and waving it over his head and hearing the crowd.
That big old pizza box they have now.
Exactly.
Ricky Henderson didn't have to do that. He
it was
had
a little easier for
base.
Ricky to get that base out of there.
Yeah.
Now you're dealing with a big old pizza box. But
and of course, Ricky went complete third person talking about how great Ricky is.
That's right. I wonder
as he would.
I don't think
Acuna
Acuna did that last night, but I would have loved it if he had. But no, that was a lot of fun last night. And for the Cubs now, I mean, you're in a very tricky spot. I mean, those were games that maybe you could say going into them, it's going to be tough to beat the Braves. But you have really felt, especially these last two nights, that both those games were yours to win, and you lost both of them. So I mean, it's got to be a tough feeling this morning to wake up and be the Cubs right now.
I texted a Cub friend of mine last night, I feel your pain, and he texted me back immediately in all caps, no, you don't.
Well, it's pretty bad over here in Cardinal land, too. It hadn't gotten much better. But
no, it's been over since April. Johnny Hill with us again today, third man in the booth. Glad to have Johnny, and he's off to a great start, and really glad to have him. And I told him earlier, Bryant, as much as he can't believe it, I had my first day here. I had my second day here.
First for everybody. Yeah, that's right. And third and fourth, and now we can't keep count of them. There's just too many. So.
That's right. Also, tonight at 12:30, eggs go in the ground, golf balls in the air at the Ryder Cup. First match starts at 12:35 our time tonight. Tyrrell Hatton and John Rahm against Scotty Scheffler and Sam Burns. Man, that's some heat. I thought it was illustrative that Wyndham Clark is not one of the 8 players out in the first group. He, the winner of the U.S. Open, but the Open Championship winner, he is in that group, Brian Harman. He will be in the second group at 12:50. Harman Homa for the United States team against Hovland Aberg for Team Euro. And the third match, and that is foursomes early, right? Or 4-ball? It's foursomes.
Foursomes, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, and then Shane Lowry, Sepp Straka against Ricky Fowler and Colin Morikawa. And the fourth match of the morning session that will be late night for us. We'll be waking up really to its conclusion. You have to get up early, too, at that conclusion. It's all on USA Network. I'm not promising 12:35, but I am promising tomorrow morning about 4:45 or 5 or so, not too much before my regular time. But McIlroy Fleetwood against Cantlay Schauffele, and then 4 matches in the afternoon that will be more wheelhouse for American TV watching.
Yeah, no, I might see the boys tee off on the first tee at 12:30. I probably won't see much after that, and I certainly won't see any tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock in the morning. That'll be you. I'm relying on you.
I'm calling it. Golf fans, and trust me, I know the difference. There's a difference between going to sleep and passing out.
Sure.
There are some golf fans that will pass out to golf tonight.
Yes, absolutely. And I found myself doing that the past couple nights with baseball at some. But, Brett.
No. You go to sleep, Brian. There's the difference is what gets you there.
That is very true.
And then when you awaken, there's a difference between waking up and coming to.
Well, that is true, but sometimes I feel like I'm just coming to. I don't know where I am. What is that noise that's being made right now?
But you had been dragged in the streets.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. But Brett, I remember especially when I first started working here, we would talk about late night games or things happening in the wee hours of the morning, and I'd be like, oh man, I'm all over. I remember the Olympics a couple years ago, and it was different time zones. I was like, oh yeah, I'll be up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when those go off. Not anymore, Brett. I don't know what has happened to my sleeping pattern. I think I'm just getting older. I think I'm just becoming an adult now. And so I mean, some of even these like Mariners games I watched, the Kraken are getting kind of kicked up. These 9:30 starts. Towards the end of them, I'm ready to hey, let's pick this game up. Let's get a final so I can go to bed.
With the Ole Miss kickoff time Saturday, I will get up early Saturday morning and watch because I can catch a little bit.
Sure.
Although I'm not a big and I'm not a great napper.
Oh, I'm a huge napper.
I'm telling you, the few times that I do nap, and I hardly ever plan it. I just fall asleep.
Right.
It's the closest thing I've ever felt since I quit drinking to waking up and feeling hungover.
Yeah, but man, that nap does feel good.
I can't nap.
Yeah, I sometimes I feel like that when I wake up from a nap, but man, I love me a good nap on a Thursday afternoon or something. If I can catch like an hour nap, oh man.
Now Sunday, I'll get up Sunday and watch, and then head home like I do, and then watch the conclusion.
Sure.
And probably will be riveting golf. But that Fowler Morikawa team, I'm looking forward to watching that, and we'll follow all the Ryder Cup. Speaking of golf, I'm looking forward tonight. I like their segment they're doing on Thursday Night Football with the Matt Berry, Dan Mullen team, and they're playing kind of their golf match all year in the city that they're in.
Yeah.
And they played at TPC South
Sure
when they were here 2 weeks ago. I'm hoping. I mean, they could. I'm hoping right now. Well, they got to be finished by now. They had to wrap it up before now because they got duties tonight. But I'm hoping they got to play Southern Hills, and I'm looking forward to watching and see where their match stands tonight during the Temple at Tulsa game.
Yeah, I didn't know that was that was going to be like a weekly thing, and so when they were here in Memphis, I saw them obviously at TPC Southwind, and I was like,
I think weather permitting, they're trying to do it weekly.
Right? Yeah, and then I saw it the next week, and I was like, oh, this is, and they were like, we're keeping up with our score on these holes and stuff, and we're going to see at the end of the year who's better. So that will be a lot of fun. I hope you're right. I hope they get that. But Brett, speaking of football, a lot of football tonight. But you see the big time news this morning out of the football world.
I did see it. It's official, the merger of the USFL and the XFL. I don't think it will have any effect here. I don't think. I sure hope not. I can't see how they couldn't go forward just with the crowds that we had last year for a presentation for an event that was not crowd dependent, and we still had. I would say overall fair crowds.
Sure.
But again, it was not crowd dependent. It was not even set up to be that way. I don't know. I think going forward it will be more to that. But it is a made for a TV event, and I thought Memphis and Steve Macy and the people here acquitted themselves very, very nicely last spring and summer, and I enjoyed it. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't, but we're waiting on official announcement.
Yeah, and I talked last week. I'd been seeing some reports around saying that the teams in markets already seemed to be fairly safe. It was those teams that did not have a home in their market that could be on the chopping block for this league. Now obviously when you say something like that and you see these reports on social media, on Twitter, it's kind of hard to vet because it's such a new entity. These some of the people that are covering this are just covering these spring leagues. It's not like Adrian Wojnarowski who's tweeting about the ins and outs of the USFL and XFL. But from everything I've heard, they've been pretty consistent on it's the teams that don't have a set home, which would be in the USFL. The XFL all played in their home markets. So, it sounds like they want to shave it down by a couple of teams, and maybe those teams, especially like the Houston team where there's already a Houston team in the XFL, Houston team for the USFL, maybe shave one of those teams like that. So hopefully the Showboats are in good shape going into this. And I'm very excited. I mean, when you bring these two together, I think, having one entity for spring football could definitely be a positive thing.
So that would I like your line of thinking there. So that means Detroit would probably make it because that was a home base, right?
Right.
For the Michigan Panthers, Birmingham, I think for sure with what they did. Memphis, and then the merger of Was that the 4 kind of originating sites last year for USFL, or was there another one?
Yeah, so there were Michigan, Canton, Birmingham, and Memphis were the 4, and Pittsburgh was the home team for Canton.
Okay.
So
I don't know how.
Yeah, I just don't know about that. And another thing I've seen in reporting that I've seen, again, who knows if this is extremely accurate or not, but that in the combination of the two, the idea of playing in pod systems of kind of pod bases is something that they are thinking about continuing, that they might like to do, which another question that brings about of how would that work? Would these pod cities that you already had for the USFL just be the pod cities and you bring teams from the XFL into those markets when they already seem to have markets? I don't know. It seems like a lot of ins and outs that need to be worked out in this deal.
I just hope somehow the Houston Gamblers logo makes it. I think their helmet, I told you last year during it, I think the Houston Gambler helmet, one of the best headgears, hats, lids in the history of the sport.
It's good. And I'll be honest, I mean, we obviously talked a lot of the showboats last year, but, I went to a Gamblers game and I had friends that just, were bored, wanted to go see football, and they went to a Gamblers game. And they all said, I mean, it was fun to go to. I mean, just having football there, even though it's not your team, quote unquote, your team.
That right there gets you into football heaven.
I mean, it should, at least. But, I mean, it's fun to have, events and games that you can go see. So I hope they're still there. I hope the showboats for sure are still a part of this new combined entity. But that breaking news, it's looking interesting for spring football. Definitely, I think, in a better spot than spring football has been in the past years of AAF and all of these different ventures we've gone down to. But the breaking news this morning.
Brian,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, they've merged this morning, so it's officially official.
Bryant, file this one away for late July summertime radio, and we'll get file it away, and we'll get people very involved in this one. In your football attending lives, what have you done that moves you to the front of the line to going to football heaven?
I like that. That's a good one. I'm going to write it down right now.
I think attending any spring game puts you way up there.
Oh, I agree. So, okay, what gets you into football heaven? I've written it down. It's marked. We're gonna remember it. We'll come back to that one.
Just bumps you way up there. We got Gabriel blowing his horn at the real place. Kind of John Facenda welcoming you into football heaven.
I like it.
What have you done in your life to move yourself way up there?
All right, I'll file that away. That's a good one because I'm sure there are some pretty good responses to that.
2 games in one day that ought to do something
that'll get
for you.
Especially football. I mean, that's a lot. You almost dedicate a whole day to just go to one game. So going to 2 games, I would have to say that
11 in Oxford, night at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. I've done that a bunch of times.
Yeah, I think that definitely gets
I think
you
I got that. I got to work on the other place more than I do football heaven. I think I've made it to football heaven.
I think so too. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. At 3:30, Bill Bender from the Sporting News will join us to talk some college football. A lot to get to with Bill. 3:45, we'll get into some baseball talk as we're coming down the home stretch. Only a couple of games left to play. The end of this week will be the end of the regular season, so we got to talk about a lot of these wild card races. 4 o'clock, Keith Smith from Spot Track and the Front Office Show will join us. Obviously, a lot of Damian Lillard talk after the trade yesterday. Dame going till Milwaukee, but we'll also have to get to a lot of other things in the NBA with camps opening up on Monday. 4:30, we'll get into the Thursday night football game tonight and some other things in the NFL as the weekend quickly approaches. 4:45, big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Greg Gaston will join us to talk Tigers. We'll have to talk a little bit about that game in St. Louis against Missouri, but also the big game this weekend against Boise State at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. So we'll talk to Greg at 5 o'clock. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. The world's biggest spa sale. It's back and bigger than ever. 50 different models to choose from, 5 different manufacturers, up to 30% off in-stock spas and swim spas. Free upgrades on all in-stock spas. And the 24-month same as cash, it's still available, but only at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
He's Brian. I'm Brett. Johnny Hill with us as well from the Flynn Broadcasting Studios, and as always, from the Family Leisure Studios. And we want you to be a part of our show at 901-360-8255. This first hour of our show brought to you every day by the one and only Lexus dealership in town. That is, of course, Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway, and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2023 models and always special leasing options. 24 is on the way. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2023 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, we talked a lot about the Damian Lillard trade yesterday to Milwaukee, and we're going to talk some more about that at 4 o'clock when we talk to Keith Smith. But, Brett, are you familiar with Damian Lillard's rap career? You know, he's a rapper. He goes by the name Dame
Dollar.
I am a little. Okay.
I don't know that I could tell you songs, but right. I knew that he was making his way in that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a rapper, and very serious. I mean, there's other football players, basketball players, baseball players that kind of dabble in music and stuff. But Damian Lillard, going by Dame Dollar, he's put out a lot of music, and from what I've heard, some really good music. I know he has some features with some high-level rappers, but he dropped a song last night after being traded, had it in the chamber, ready to go.
Take that, Taylor Swift.
For the trial, I mean, really. Called Farewell, and it was a song about his time in Portland and the trade. And this is how the song ends. I continue leaving trails, but won't be for the Blazers. To the fans, man, I love you. It's unconditional. Reasons for me leaving the city's nothing typical, so it's imperative not to believe the narrative. Just know what I left is better than what I inherited. I leave at peace because I know at the end of this, it's business. Hope you remember all of the good things that you got to sit and witness. In the future, man, I hope that we greet with hugs and kisses, but you should know that they the ones that chose another mission. So he wants everybody to know. He wants the fans to know this wasn't me.
That's really well done. It's almost rhapsodic.
I mean, it was really good. I was listening to the song earlier today when I saw that it was released last night, and I didn't get to listen to it. And I'm listening to it today, and I hear that end part, and I go, wow, he really wants everybody to know that this wasn't him that left and wanted to leave and go somewhere. This was the organization wanted to go in a different route that he saw this organization going, and he just had to leave. I mean, good for him.
So kind of his Taylor Swift version of the breakup song.
That's right. Kind of exactly, actually.
What did he invoke C.J. McCollum in it? Because remember when we were that young backcourt duo, they never won anything.
Yeah, no, I haven't. I didn't hear anything. I'm looking through the lyrics. I don't see anything about. So
he didn't go John Mayer.
No.
Like Taylor Swift mentioning John Mayer. Huh?
No, I did see there is a point where he people are thinking he calls out Scoot Henderson because he says something like they're trying to replace me, but he'll never reach my level or something like that. So I mean, he threw a couple shots in there. I mean, good for him. But he definitely had that one in the chamber and was waiting until the day he was traded.
My top story, in a way, for Memphis, Ole Miss, and Arkansas this weekend is really bigger than last weekend. I know everybody was excited about those matchups last week, me included. Could have made a really big splash for all three on the road last week, but none of the three could pull it off. Now all three at home are, in the Razorbacks' case, certainly friendlier stadium than they were playing in last week at Tiger Stadium against LSU. And all three fan bases a little bit nervous, a little bit on edge. The grumbling a little bit for all three. The grumbling at Ryan Silverfield. It'll really start with a loss.
Yep.
The grumbling by Ole Miss fans asking if Lane's ever won the big one, which I think's ridiculous. He plays in the SEC. You win a game there, it's big. The Arkansas fans, really attacking Sam Pittman, not only his record, but also his weight, which I think's a really real cheap shot.
Yeah.
What all three have in common, nobody wants to go backwards, and that's what they fear.
not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day is we have football back tonight, the NFL matchup, Thursday night football between the Lions and the Packers. That starts, kickoff will be around 7:15. Our coverage here on Sports 56 will start at 7 o'clock, but we also have 3 college football games: Middle Tennessee State versus Western Kentucky, Temple versus Tulsa, and Jacksonville State versus Sam Houston. Obviously, a lot of the group of 5 schools, but you've got an American Athletic Conference matchup in there between Temple and Tulsa. You've got what I think is a must-win. You mentioned this earlier, a must-win for MTSU as they sit 1-3 right now, and Western Kentucky 2-2, and I really like that offense they have. And then that last game of the night, Jacksonville State and both of these teams, Jacksonville State versus Sam Houston, both in their first Rich Rod, both in their first season in the FBS. And for Sam Houston, you know who's just been promoted to the starting quarterback at Sam Houston? Grant Gunnell, the former Tiger quarterback, one day was thought to be the starting quarterback before he got injured and the start of Seth Hennigan began. So I guess you could see a former Tiger this evening, 7 o'clock on ESPNU when Jacksonville State and Sam Houston kick off. But I'm really excited. I know probably a lot of people are sitting there going, who cares about these 3 games? But I'm telling you,
we care.
I am stoked about these 3 games.
I am too. The long and winding road of Grant Gunnell.
Oh,
my not top story, Rory McIlroy, 12-12-4 in 6 Ryder Cup appearances. Justin Thomas is 6-2-1 in Ryder Cups. Only 2 appearances for Justin Thomas, but 16-5-3 in Ryder and President's Cup. Why are we so worried about Justin Thomas in this competition? Brian, it's official. The battle has been joined. USA,
Yeah.
Go USA. I want to make Rory whine. I love when Rory goes whine.
I love it. Well, I'm just glad you're on Team USA. It's good stuff. That'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some college football with Bill Bender. But before we do that, here's a traffic update.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. They're in the cleanup stages of an earlier crash on 55 North right at 240. It did have traffic slow a few minutes ago on 240 westbound coming past Mill Branch. Still moving right now south of Memphis on 55 down through DeSoto County. Looks good in the construction zone right now. We're watching it over here on 55 north and southbound between McLemore and South Parkway. Don't miss it this year. Smoky Mountain Fall Festival coming up at Ober-Gatlinburg. It starts this weekend. Check it out at obergatlinburg.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
My friends at Miramichi are always innovative. They've got a new thing going I think you're going to like. They have a staggered rate pertaining to what time of day it is. You can get a better price if you go in the later afternoon than you will in the morning or in the afternoon. From noon to 3, there is a $10 savings. There's about a $13 savings from 3 until close. You can't beat all of the innovations or the beauty at Miramichi, and folks are flocking. No longer can you get a membership. There's a waiting list, but that's how popular Miramichi has become. And why wouldn't it? You've got different levels of competition. You have 5 different tee boxes you can choose from ultra hard to ultra fun. The thing that's a constant is the beauty. The back 9 is like taking a walk through the woods with a meandering stream, and there's a waterfall you'll love. Everything about Miramichi is cool. Go check it out in Woodstock, 12 minutes north of downtown. It's Miramichi.
Start your day the right way at La Palapa with the biggest, baddest breakfast burrito around. Chorizo, cheese, rice, beans, and eggs served with fresh salsa, and it's served all day. La Palapa has daily lunch specials, all served with rice and beans, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Try a torta, breaded chicken, steak, chorizo, or ham served with mayo, avocado, lettuce, tomato, and jalapenos, all in a hoagie. Plus amazing soups and dinner entrees, all at La Palapa, 5255 Summer Avenue. La Palapa, the little hut with big taste.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Give me liberty and give me real estate.
I'm Sheldon Rosengarten, and that was Hugh Mallory. Not only does he work with me at Mark Spensdorf Realtors, he's the president of this year's AutoZone Liberty Bowl. So Hugh, instead of sounding like Patrick Henry, what do you mean?
Well, Sheldon, like you, I sell real estate. I'm also privileged to serve as president of the 65th AutoZone Liberty Bowl, which will be held Friday, December 29th at 2:30. I'm able to handle all my clients, whether they're buying or selling, while participating in this great annual tradition.
Hugh, that is definitely quite an honor, and with your fabulous track record in real estate sales, I know you'll do a great job. Hugh will move you as something to remember, and you can reach Hugh Mallory at 497-9756. It's also why people often say that when you want the job done, call Shell Dunn. You can reach me, Shell Dunn Rosengarten, at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. That's memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546. See you at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl on December 29th.
Joining Bryant, Brett, and Jay Morgan now on Sports Time is Bill Bender, national college football writer for the Sporting News and on Twitter X at Bill Bender. Here's Bill with Bryant, Brett, and Jay Morgan.
Bill Bender joins us now from the Sporting News. Bill, thanks so much for joining us. A lot to get to from the college football world over last weekend and this coming up weekend, but I want to start with the game that you were at, Ohio State versus Notre Dame. Probably the best game of that Saturday that we were looking so forward to, and it was a great game. Come down to the last second and a run play, and now everyone's turning their attention to Notre Dame only having 10 players on the field on those last two plays. What was that experience like being at that game, and what were your main takeaways from it?
The best game I've covered in a while.
Wow.
I mean, Notre Dame obviously had it down to the last play. That stadium was ready to explode, and Ryan Day kind of played Grinch. Runs the ball down the middle, they score, goes right after Lou Holtz after. And, you know, the impact of that game will probably translate over the entire season, because Ohio State loses that game, Notre Dame's leg up in the playoff race. But Notre Dame, they have no time. They got to go to Duke now. But amazing experience. Everybody should go see a game at Notre Dame, and all the better when it's a top 10 showdown like that.
Bill, last weekend, it was an impressive performance from you with your official duties for the Sporting News. I'm not kidding you. I got up early Saturday morning to leave Birmingham to head to Tuscaloosa. I think I heard you last Saturday somewhere before, after, during, on every radio show in the country. It felt like that. You were put through your paces last weekend. It had to be fun.
No, that's what this is about, though. Like, if you're going to do this job, and not to be cliche, like, I work hard and I enjoy it, but you work hard so you can experience moments like that. And I can't just walking around campus before the game and seeing all the Ohio State fans and all the Notre Dame fans and all that green and scarlet. And then, got to sit next to Pat Forty and Heather Dinich. They're two of the absolute best people in the business. And we sat there and watched a really fantastic game. So, yeah, I pinch myself sometimes. And then afterward, of course, I do think a little too much, like Ryan Day and all of that, and this whole Holtz thing, which is on like day 5, took away from the game a little bit. There's no question.
Yeah, it did. It felt like it was a little forced. I'm so with you on a game day or an assignment or a college football season. Bill, I throw everything I have into it because when it's all over, I don't want any regrets. I want to know that I tried to do everything I wanted to do and experience everything. And after we hung up with you last week, and I don't know whether you're a drinker or not, but you don't have to be to enjoy it. Did you go to the famed Linebacker Bar in South Bend? Have you ever been?
No, I didn't get a chance. I went over to – I did go to a couple tailgates. One of Grant's football coaches is a huge Notre Dame guy, and he went. And, there was reports during the week that the stands might be 60-40 or whatever. I can tell you it was probably 80-20 at best for Ohio State. There was so much green there, and they were buckled for that. I had written a column last week about I really believe that would have been their biggest win in 30 years. And I'll hold to that. I think had they won that game, it would have felt like Florida State. Instead, it probably felt a little bit like the Bush push, same end zone.
Yeah.
No, different end zone. I'm sorry. I don't want to get that wrong.
Bill, at Notre Dame, do you think goalposts would have come down, and have they do they do that? Have they ever done it? Do you think that they would have been close to it last Saturday night?
No, I think so. Heather was tweeting that there were students ready to rush the field, and it would have been quite a scene had they won. Instead, it was one of those, and I've done a couple of these where you have a shocking ending like that, and it was a lot of blank stares walking out of Notre Dame Stadium, and a lot of OHIO chants, which is what Ohio State fans do. But again, I think the more I've thought about it, and I've seen this written other places, is Ryan Day was kind of he used Lou Holtz to lash out at everybody, honestly, because there were a lot of questions about Ohio State. And I never thought they were not physical in these games. I just thought the problem was a lot of defensive breakdowns, and they didn't have those Saturdays.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Bill, you mentioned Ryan Day, and he was lashing out. He's 49-6 at Ohio State, and he gets a little bit of this guff that Lane Kiffin's getting at 26-14 at Ole Miss, and Sam Pittman's getting at 21-19 at Arkansas. Where's the beef? That's ridiculous. He's 49-6.
Yeah, and they're really zeroed in on them two Michigan games. Even Lou Holtz references them. Lou Holtz got it wrong. Ryan Day's actually 1-2 against Michigan. He beat them in 2019. Which is an important part of this too. But he said we had a bad half in Ann Arbor. And that was where this whole narrative started. Michigan, a couple years ago, pushed them around for a half. And they did. I mean, they're owning it. And like I said, I've never thought this is about physical or tough. I mean, you want to talk about tough, I think Kyle McCord, the way he drove them down the field, connects on a couple big third downs, hits a fourth down to Julian Fleming. Like I said, that stadium's ready to explode and have everybody have this great celebration. And Kyle McCord, if anybody spoiled the party, I think it was him.
Yeah. Well, on the other side for Notre Dame, after that kind of soul-crushing loss against Ohio State, now they have to go to Duke and play in a primetime game on ABC against a Duke team that looks unbelievable this year, ranked 17th in the country. How do you expect Notre Dame to respond on the road next week?
I mean, well, it's coming, right? Yeah. I mean, they have to bounce back. There's no time for one of those hangovers. Duke's a good team. Duke's a really good underdog. They've been a good underdog. Mike Elko's on the cusp of probably making some money elsewhere if he so chooses, because he's going to be a hot commodity. And, I still think Notre Dame, we'll find out. I mean, what they learned from last year when they lost to Ohio State and then turned around and lost to Marshall. We'll see if that's a thing of the past. If they, it's ironic because Lou Holtz is the guy who used to always say that. Don't let a team beat you twice.
A big game Saturday in the Big Ten, Nebraska, with Matt Rule, first-year coach, 2 up, 2 down, hosting Michigan, 4-0, Michigan with everything in front of them. Michigan, a 17-point favorite in Lincoln, but that is a classic matchup of two big, storied programs, isn't it?
Yeah, and it'll probably be a quick game because Nebraska likes to run and Michigan likes to run, and that'll be an old school. That may be a 2.5-hour game, depending on the commercials. Tricky game for Michigan, too. First road game. Nebraska's kind of got over their first couple weeks. I still think the Wolverines win as long as they don't turn the ball over, and it really comes down to their defense. I'm reading some Michigan content this week. They're not overjoyed with how the offense is playing because they're not just dominating on the ground. Now, Blake Corum's got some numbers. They need to get Donovan Edwards going behind him. I think Michigan wins. But fun fact, Michigan and Georgia, both 4-0, both 1-2, both 0-4 against the spread, and I really think the clock rules have something to do with it.
Wow, that's a
good
nugget.
Oh.
Yeah. Talking to Bill Bender from the Sporting News. Speaking of the Big Ten, yesterday Michigan State made it official, firing Mel Tucker for cause. You mentioned Mike Elko and how he'll be a hot commodity in the coaching carousel this offseason. Who are some names that you expect to be thrown out there for Michigan State, and how high is Mike Elko on that list?
Well, they haven't probably really got started on this. I mean, I thought Chris Kleiman would be one of those names, but he said on, I believe it was on Sirius yesterday with Nicole Auerbach that interested. He wants to stay in Kansas State. So, I mean, but it'll attract names like Mike Elko, and it should. Tressel, Wisconsin's defensive coordinator, and a couple others. Is that a job that Mark Stoops wants to look at? That's a question worth asking. I mean, Mark's done just such a fantastic job at Kentucky. I don't know if Michigan State, honestly, is a better job than Kentucky right now, if we're being honest.
And Mark Stoops Saturday, going for 3 straight over Florida, something no Kentucky coach has accomplished since Coach Bear Bryant did it 4 straight. He's going for 3 straight and back-to-back at home over Florida for the first time since 74 and 76. 1-point favorite. Who wins that game? Billy Napier. I don't know if this is signature, but after Tennessee and this, that's some pretty good signators.
Yeah, it'll be a good game. I appreciated that Mark Stoops also knows that those Kentucky fans can, hey, come on, I'm an Ohio guy. We can get up early and crush a couple beers. It's not that hard. So they'll be ready to go. And I think I have Kentucky winning that game, but it's going to hinge on the quarterback play between Devin Leary and Graham Mertz. Both of these guys are transfers. With transfers, you just never know when road starts. Leary's thrown a couple picks for Kentucky, which is a bit of a concern against the Florida team that's got it together. The more I watch Florida, though, the more I'm less about Florida and more impressed with the way that Utah just handled them. And I keep saying, Utah, we just undervalue them at our own peril.
In the Alabama-Ole Miss game, what surprised you more, the Ole Miss effort or the Alabama effort and the ultimate result in winning?
Dud for Ole Miss, right? Like, had a chance to go out there and finally beat Saban. Mm-hmm. Lane was tweaking him all week. This is part of the theme, right? Whether it's Ryan Day and Holtz or Dan Lanning and Dion or Lane poking at Nick Saban. What did Nick Saban do? Nothing. Didn't even react. He just went out there and had the kind of methodical 24-10 win. I think Alabama's defense is still very good when they're not committing penalties. 5 sacks, 10 tackles for loss. Milroe did enough to win, and we all are just so ready to get that shovel out and bury Alabama that sometimes we forget they're a pretty good football team.
Yeah, and they showed that on Saturday. Bill, I'm curious your thoughts. Obviously, here in Memphis, we keep a close eye on the American Athletic Conference, and it's been kind of reported for the last couple of weeks, but Ross Dellinger reported today that Army and the American Athletic Conference are in deep negotiations that could complete in the coming weeks. Obviously, Navy already a football-only school in the American. What do you make of the addition of Army to the American?
Makes sense. It's Army in a conference, and, put some extra, whatever you want to call them, implications on that Army-Navy game. I think that'll be fun, having them in a conference and seeing that. And, it's about survival, obviously, as we get into this 12-team playoff era. They haven't agreed on some of the playoff terms, as we saw in those meetings yesterday. But, it'll be interesting to see. But I think Army in a conference isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, I think it's certainly intriguing, but it should be another really fun weekend of college football. But Bill, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do it again next Thursday.
Hey, I love talking to you guys. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, Bill. Be safe.
Bill Bender from the Sporting News joining us every single Thursday to talk some college football. And he was at that game, Notre Dame and Ohio State, and very interesting to hear kind of the almost the sights and sounds of what was going on in that game Saturday night.
It looked spectacular.
It really did. Well, and Brett, I mean, we've talked about it already, but being able to flip back and forth from the scene at that game in the scene at Penn State with the whiteout, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. It really doesn't.
And I tell people all the time, after going to Michigan, Ohio State last year and feeling it, it's only because where we grew up. If you'd have planted me in the middle of, kind of the Indiana Ohio border, that would be my team.
Sure.
That would be, you can feel that passion.
Absolutely.
I tell people my kinship with the good people of Ohio because you can feel the football love in them.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and they show it every single Saturday. I mean, Big Ten games. I mean, they show out for every single game. So should be, like I said, another really, really good weekend of college football. A lot of really intriguing games. Kicking off tomorrow night with a top 25 battle between Utah and Oregon State. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about what happened last night in Major League Baseball and where some of these teams stand with only a couple games remaining in these wild card races. That's next on Sports Time.
Real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Want to play a private country club but only pay daily greens fees? Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis is your place. You can now play a beautiful, challenging course for only $59 plus tax, including cards. Meadowbrook Country Club features champion Bermuda greens and now is available to everyone. A membership is only $350 per month and includes tennis, pickleball, and swimming, plus a great restaurant and bar. Golf Pro Mark can even fix you up with custom-made tricks on clubs. Call 870-394-4186 today for your Tuesday through Sunday tee time at Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis.
Memphis football is home Saturday, September 30th as they face off against traditional power Boise State at 3. We celebrate D'Angelo Williams and the entire 2003 Memphis Tigers. It's also Kids Day. We have balloon artists, inflatables, special poster-making stations, and more for kids of all ages. Tickets start at just $20 to witness 901's team in action. Be there Saturday, September 30th at 3 o'clock. Purchase your tickets today at GoTigersGoTix.com.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair because they just don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance carriers each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. This is why you call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates and consultation and love to assist homeowners with their claims. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, and diagnosing problems is second to none. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. And the best part of all you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, Certainteed, Owens Corning, and even Mulehide. We offer best-in-class warranties on all of our jobs, up to 50 years. When it comes to roofs and restoration, call Metro Builders to schedule your free inspection. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Ian Eagle here from Thursday Night Football on Westwood One. NFC North action ahead this week from Green Bay with Jordan Love and the Packers coming off a 3-score fourth-quarter comeback win. Now they host Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions, who also moved to 2-1 with a victory on Sunday. Join me and newly inducted Hall of Famer Joe Thomas on Thursday Night Football.
Right here on Sports 56.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Thursday Night Football is on, and it's only on Prime. Tonight, an NFC North rivalry is renewed when Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions head to Lambeau Field to take on Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. Not a Prime member? Sign up for a 30-day free trial to stream the game. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern with TNF Tonight, presented by Verizon. It's the Lions and the Packers tonight on Thursday Night Football, and it's on Prime. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. We're sitting in our family leisure studios, and we got to talk about the Major League Baseball and these wild card races going on. A couple of games today during the day. The Royals and the Tigers had to complete their game from last night that got rained out. Tigers with an 8-0 win in that one. And then the Athletics beat the Twins 2-1. White Sox beat the D-backs 3-1. But not a ton of games tonight. Another one of those travel days as these teams get ready to wrap up their final series of the season. But we do have a handful of games you've mentioned already. A big game tonight between the Astros and the Mariners, and we're really coming down the stretch.
You think it's must?
You know, Brett,
you think it's must tonight for Seattle?
I think we're almost past must win for the Mariners, because I mean, when you look in front of them, I think you'd have to have everything just go perfectly right. I think in order for the Mariners to felt good going down the stretch, they really needed to take advantage of the Astros, and they didn't do that. I mean, if you're going to say there's got to be a must win game, this is the must win game. But I'm just kind of I think the season might be over for Seattle after you couldn't get a win last night. I mean, that was kind of embarrassing last night.
One back in the all-important loss column of the Astros. If they won tonight, they would be flat foot in the loss column. In Toronto with 71 losses, they would only be 2 behind them. Toronto, they couldn't finish off the Yankees last night. I think this afternoon, with Arizona losing this afternoon, that they keep Cincinnati with a flicker of hope, and really the Cubs have to really be pleased with the Diamondbacks. That takes a little pressure off of them.
And for this race, for the Mariners, there's still a glimmer of hope, because if you can take advantage of the Rangers, but the thing is they just got swept by the Rangers, which could be a good thing in their favor, kind of a little get back. But when you look at the Astros, now they go, like you say, play the D-backs, who are still playing to try to make the wild card, and the Astros are playing the Rays, who I think will still be competitive. And so those two teams in front of you have tough competition, and they could drop a couple of those. And if you can take advantage of the Rangers, you could sneak in there, but I just don't know about the Mariners against the Rangers.
Astros closed with 3 in Phoenix against Arizona.
Yes. So that's a tough matchup for them. I mean, that's a D-backs team.
It is because Arizona's very hungry.
Exactly, and they've got to win these games to clinch that playoff spot, even though there's still a couple of games ahead. So there's still a lot to play for all of these teams.
Goodbye weekend around baseball in St. Louis on Sunday. It'll be very emotional.
It will.
When Adam Wainwright says goodbye to Cardinal fans, beloved Cardinal, I would say in Cardinal pitching lore. Bob Gibson 1, Adam Wainwright, Chris Carpenter duel it out on 2 and 3. Well, I don't think either would be a wrong answer. Beloved. Also, sounds like Joey Votto is at the end with the Reds. We know Miguel Cabrera with the Tigers, and they're already they started the goodbyes, or maybe they ended them. I don't know where they are this weekend in Cleveland with Terry Francona. They are on the road this weekend, so that was goodbye. I guess that was goodbye last night, or the start of it for Terry Francona there, and he is the longest tenured manager with current team in the American League.
That's hard to believe. That is really hard to believe. But you talk about Joey Votto, and Joey Votto is going to have a bidding war from a lot of these networks to bring him on as an analyst, as a guy that pregame, postgame. What I've heard from him on some of these shows, I mean, he is exactly what I think some of these people are looking for, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Is he? I have it because fandom in me. I about turn him off every time he comes on. And that's just fandom in me. Yeah, I mentioned Terry Francona. He's won in seniority, hired in 2012 by the Guardians, won a World Series in Boston, and got them to a World Series and really close against the Cubbies in 2016. That'll move Kevin Cash to 1, Scott Cervais 2. Will Aaron Boone hang on in B3? He's currently 4. Rocco Baldelli right behind him. And then Brandon Hyde. Boy, it moves fast, doesn't it?
Sure does. I mean, some of these names you just rattled off, it feels like they just got there. And now they're towards
Dusty
the top.
Baker did.
He sure did.
He's 7th currently. We know Francona is retiring, and it feels like something could happen with Aaron Boone, who got a new name one time in Boston. I think I called him Brett Boone the other day, and it is Aaron Boone. Dusty Baker, hired in January of 20, he's 7th. He could move up, and we wait and see if there's any announcement from him. Has he made any noise about being back next year?
I haven't heard anything, but it's starting to get to that point where we're going to start finding out a lot of things about these managers and their status for next year. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Like we said, still a lot of intriguing series coming up, starting either today or tomorrow for a lot of these teams trying to make those final wild card spots. But that'll do it for our first hour. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk NBA with Keith Smith.
Jeep Adventure Days and Ram Power Days are going strong at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. And if you're ready to save big bucks, we Gossett! Show off your style in 2023 Fiat 500X Pop 4-door. Gossett priced at $28,990 or $354 a month with 0% APR. Or take your pick with 2023 Jeep Renegade or 2023 Dodge Charger, now just $422 a month. And if you're looking for big savings on your 2023 Ram 1500, get to Gossett for just $587 a month. And if we don't have it, Gossett can order it today. So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett on the Pike, or shop online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motorcars.
All 3500 Elmas financed through Chrysler. Pop PP 988,763, MSRP 31,355. Renegade PPP 45,607, MSRP 30,500. Charger PH 508,657, MSRP 35,930. Ram PN 693, 3965, MSRP 48,330. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 9/30/2023 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings & Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings & Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings & Grill.
Every once in a while, a new concept comes on the scene and really upsets the old-school apple carts. Well, that's exactly what Genesis Diamonds has done here in Memphis. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine, and Genesis Diamonds is a fresh, exciting, revolutionary kind of jewelry store that has forever changed the jewelry landscape here in Memphis. Fall is just around the corner. What better time to make that big purchase than right now at Genesis Diamonds? With up to 30 times what you find at other stores in selection, no middleman prices that we've never seen here before, with natural and lab-grown diamonds in all shapes and sizes, Genesis has something for everyone. Plus, free service for life on any purchase and a 120% diamond upgrade guarantee that no other store would dare to offer. Genesis has turned the old school jewelry retail model upside down with lower margins, higher volume, no tricky pricing, no pressure, and no middleman. Get to Genesis Diamonds today and get that diamond purchase taken care of. This is the value leader, and nobody can challenge them here. Check out Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended. Genesis Diamonds, the official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans. Hey, Sports 56 fans, come join us for a live remote at Town Village Audubon Park, corner of Park and Cherry, this Friday from 11 to 1 p.m. Come enjoy the fun, lots of raffle prizes to win, 3 rounds of golf and carts at Wedgwood Golf Course, also plenty of Tiger football tickets to win too. Come hungry, enjoy eating Three Little Pigs barbecue. See you at Town Village this Friday, 11 to 1. Johnny Harden's Happy Hour, where sports talk never ends.
The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination, has 27 delicious flavors to choose from and counting. Like the Buffalo Ranch, a perfect combo of ranch seasoning with a little kick. Mango Habanero, sweet taste of mango followed by the heat. Or sweet maple bourbon. The taste will remind you of chicken and waffles. And that's just 3 of the amazing 27 chicken wing seasonings that you can get at the Crazy Coop in Bartlett at 7199 Stage Road. And now open the Crazy Coop Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Some like it hot. How about the Crazy Sweet Lemon Pepper Hot or Crazy Suicide? Can't take the heat? Get the 4-cheese roasted garlic or barbecue bacon bourbon. Ask about the $9.99 lunch special. Now those are some crazy good prices. The Crazy Coop, 2 locations, 7199 Highway 64 between Atlin and Kirby Whitten and 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Family owned and operated, The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination.
It's time to go where the season takes you, and it's the season for savings at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Go for miles more with 43 MPG Highway in your 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage, $17,815 or $229 a month. 2024 Eclipse Cross eludes sleek and sporty style at $29,695 or $399 a month. Discover the new 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SUV with 3rd row and 7-passenger seating, now $29,885 or $449 a month, and they're all equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. We're ready to put you in a new ride today at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 84 months. Mirage RH 00782 MSRP 18315. Eclipse RZ 001693 MSRP 30445. Outlander RZ 005762 MSRP 31385. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax on a licensee dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Already starting to get a little bit heavy over here in the last few minutes on 240 east and westbound, especially eastbound up by Poplar. It's been slow on and off today on 55 across the bridge coming over from West Memphis as that traffic volume builds up through Midtown. On I-40 over here at Chelsea, still not bad. I-40 as you come past Covington Pike. Hey, don't miss it this weekend. It's the Smoky Mountain Fall Festival at Ober-Gatlinburg. Check it out, obergatlinburg.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah.
Time to talk NBA with Keith Smith from Spot Rack and the Front Office Show. And on Twitter X at Keith Smith NBA. Here's Keith Smith talking basketball with Bryant, Brett, and Jay Morgan.
Keith Smith joining us now to talk the NBA from Spot Track and the Front Office Show. Keith, a lot to get to today in the NBA as the Damian Lillard trade officially completed. Yesterday, Damian Lillard will go to Milwaukee and be a part of the Bucks. What did you make of this trade when it was announced yesterday?
Yeah, once I get over my whole what is happening, kind of thought process, it's really a fascinating trade because you have 2 teams that are title contenders involved in the same deal. That's extremely rare, especially, this close to the season. Just the fact that this is happening, less than a week out from training camp is another factor in, kind of the oddity here. But, really, the Bucks, Giannis put him on notice. He said, hey, I know we're going to be good this year, but I want to be good next year and the year after that and the years after that. And he basically said, we got to make that happen. And they did. They went out and got Damian Lillard, which should be a great fit for them. Portland, nice job picking up DeAndre Ayton, some draft equity. We'll see, what their full, kind of picture is when they, solve Drew Holiday by trading him in another deal. And then Phoenix, that's the part I'm a little less, confident in. I think they might have got a little bit worse here, with the guys they got, but I still don't. It's not one of those where I hate it for them either. I think everybody kind of accomplished some goals out of this one.
Keith, did anybody out there in the basketball conversation world. Did anybody have Damian Lillard ending up in Milwaukee?
You know, there were a handful of people that said, maybe the Bucks, but I think it was more suggested as what would be a really fun place for him to go, where it be an outside the box kind of thought. We talked about that on Front Office Show a little bit, and we said, Milwaukee would be cool, but then we kind of moved on quickly because it just didn't seem like something that was going to happen, especially, when it felt like Drew Holiday was kind of entrenched there, and that was probably where he was, it looked like, up until yesterday, where he was going to finish his career, but here we are. That's how it works in the NBA. And, it definitely, caught a lot of people by surprise. I know, I had talked to people yesterday morning that were convinced, it's going to be Miami. Toronto seems like that's kind of fallen, apart here. And, it's probably going to be the Heat after all. And, then, just, hours later, it was Milwaukee.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned the Heat, and it seems like people I listen to down in Miami almost seem to think it was a done deal that he would be in Miami. I know for a while we thought it would be Miami. It seemed like all eyes were pointing to, and every direction was going towards him going to Miami. And then I see this from Shams earlier today that the Heat was prepared to offer up to 3 first-round draft picks, with Tyler Hero going to a third team because Portland didn't want Tyler Hero, multiple second rounds, and expiring contracts, and 2022 first-rounder Nikola Jovic, their young forward. So what happened between Portland and Miami that got us to the point where they weren't able to make a deal?
Yeah, I think a big chunk of what happened was Portland liked what they got better from Milwaukee. I think in their mind it was, hey, if we're taking far-out picks, which would have been from Miami as well, we're going to bet on a post Damian Lillard, post Giannis Milwaukee team kind of cratering over a Heat team that just seems to, even when they dip, they don't dip very far for very long. They're kind of like Lakers East almost in that way, where they might go down for a year or two, but they're going to come right back up and be pretty good, pretty quickly. So I think, there's that part of it. I also think they believe, all right, hey, that's good. You were going to give us a couple extra picks. We could turn Drew Holiday into that, ourselves, and figure that part of it out, because they were very clear. And, it was funny. I talked to some folks with Portland, and one of the things that they said was, it's not that we think Tyler Hero is bad or has no value. He just had no value to them. Right. They're now moving forward with, which the plan always was, once Damian Lillard asked for a trade, it was going to be, we're building around Scoot Henderson, Shaedon Sharpe, and Anthony Simons. That's our backcourt grouping of, the future, and that's what we're going to do. They didn't want to introduce another guy into that mix and just make it messier than it needs to be. So now we're in a spot where, they're going to figure out something in a Drew Holiday trade and kind of keep things moving.
Keith, we always go local and stuff. You're from an area where a famous Speaker of the House said, all politics are local, and in sports it's that. I'm going to look at it through the prism of the Grizzlies. 3 teams involved in that deal, 2 from the West. I don't think the 2 from the West got that much better. I think the Grizzlies were already ahead of one and just got real closer to another.
Yeah, I mean, Portland is nowhere near Memphis's category right now. Portland's going to be one of the worst teams in the league this year. They're going to be a lot of fun, and I'm going to have a blast watching them here on the East Coast to close out those league pass nights. But they're going to be bad. I mean, but they knew that, right? You don't trade Damian Lillard and come away thinking, all right, playoffs, here we come. So, they're leaning into a new, era there in Portland. Now, Phoenix, yeah, I'm not sold that they're better. I think one of the challenges is they don't have a lot of defense on that team. It's going to be interesting to see. And I look at it as, Yusuf Nurkic is probably an offensive upgrade over DeAndre Ayton. He's a better screener. He's a better outside shooter. He's definitely a better passer. I think Ayton's a much better finisher around the rim, but I don't know how much they're throwing lobs in there anyway, whether it was to Ayton or now to Nurkic. But I don't know that being, any better offensively is what that team needed. You already have Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. What are you going to score 150 points a night? I mean, that's not going to be how it goes. So I do think that they come away with this a little bit of a different place. Where I will, give them credit though is they broke DeAndre Ayton's $30+ million contract into 3 very tradable contracts. They were basically on 4 max deals and all minimum contracts. So for them to make other trades in season was going to be almost impossible. Now, between Nurkic, Nasir Little, and Keon Johnson, and we'll see, I don't think he'll stick, but Grayson Allen will certainly stick. So you have 3 guys in Nurkic, Allen, and Little that you can put together different trade offers that are much easier to pull off to fill a hole in season than it would have been trying to use Ayton as the primary salary matching piece.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm curious for Drew Holiday, where's a landing spot you could see him? I know they've said championship contenders are kind of teams that have been reaching out or teams that they're expecting to reach out for him. Where's a fit you could see Drew Holiday fitting in at?
Yeah, I asked someone about that just, within the last hour or so, and they said it's got to be 10, 12 teams long that are making a call. Basically, anybody who's got playoff aspirations or, greater. If they've got finals aspirations, they're making a call because it's clear one thing is you're not trying to convince Portland to trade him. Portland wants to trade him, and he wants to be traded. He doesn't want to be there. So the challenge is who has the ability to make a trade like that right now? For example, the Boston Celtics, I know they have interest, and they would love to get Drew Holiday. The big challenge for them is, Malcolm Brogdon be a part of the deal, but then getting to the rest of the salary matching gets tricky unless you probably include someone like Al Horford or Rob Williams, which then leaves you extremely thin up front. So that's going to be the issue. Miami would probably like to get involved as well, but you're going to face a lot of the same things. All right, so we got to find a third team for Tyler Hero. Now maybe that's already in place, and the Heat believe that, and it's not Damian Lillard, so it's a little bit easier to pull off the rest of a trade. So I think you'll have them in there. I think some Western Conference teams, you might even have, Minnesota making a call on him. Maybe if they're, kind of taking the approach of, all right, hey, we're in for, a whole lot of pennies, so let's be in for a whole lot of pounds salary-wise. Let's, see if there's something we can get done because they're there. And I think back east, I think the New York Knicks are a really interesting team because I think the Knicks could get in the mix. And then, all the way in the other coast, the Clippers have been known to be looking for a point guard, and they've got some expiring salary. They've got a couple of draft picks. So Portland's going to have offers. The big thing to keep an eye on, though, I think this might happen quickly. I think this may be done by the end of this weekend so that Drew Holiday is wherever he's going to open training camp, and Portland can really kind of move on and start fresh with all the guys that they're going to have to start this year.
Keith, you do a great job speaking for yourself, so I don't want to speak for you. Please correct me, but it sounds like the places for Drew Holiday sounds like the places that a week ago we were talking that were prime for Damian Lillard.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of the same teams because the reality is it's teams that are looking for a point guard and teams that have the ability to bring in a high salary point guard. Now the difference is Holiday, he does make about $10 million less than Lillard. Well, not quite, but about $9 million less than Lillard does. He is going to be a free agent most likely after this year. He's got a player option that he could decline, so that's going to factor in as well. But then, it's a lot of the same teams that are looking at it and saying, all right, Damian Lillard, big splash, let's get this moving. We feel good about him. It's a lot of the same teams that can say, all right, a little bit of a different player, obviously, in Drew Holiday, but we feel pretty good about going to get him too. And while you're hearing some other teams potentially pop up in there, a little bit easier to make the trade. Again, $9 million left in salary, and he's not. Drew Holiday's a very good player, but he's not Damian Lillard. You're not talking, hey, we need draft picks, swaps, young players, all this stuff, which is ultimately what Portland got in return for Lillard in this initial trade.
Talking to Keith
By
Smith.
any chance, I'm sorry, Brian. I'm sorry. By any chance this morning, I asked Brian this earlier. We're visiting with Keith Smith from Spot Track and Front Office Show. This morning, by any chance, were y'all watching the open of Stephen A. Smith on First Take? I thought it was riotously funny. He came on. He came on like he was crying. He really wasn't. And he was going, oh, no, didn't go to my Knicks. Didn't even come playoff time go to either the Clippers or Miami because we know at playoff time how much Stephen A. is already sick of the winter weather everywhere. He goes, no South Beach, no West Hollywood, no Los Angeles. I'm going to be in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I didn't catch that, but he might not be wrong. I think, going into this trade, it was probably Boston, then Milwaukee in the East. Now it's probably Milwaukee, then Boston.
Wow.
Either place, if you're hoping to go somewhere warm for the Eastern Conference Finals and NBA Finals, you may not be getting your way. But, hey, we think that a lot, and then Miami tends to have a lot to say about that themselves, Damian Lillard or not.
Well, Keith, you talk about it sounds like Drew Holiday is going to be moved quickly, and it also sounds like Portland is open to trading Jeremy Grant, maybe wanting to trade Jeremy Grant before the start of the season. What do you make of that idea, and who are some teams that you could think he could be a good fit with?
Yeah, it won't happen before the start of the season with Jeremy Grant, but I think that's an in-season thing, and I think what the whole idea there was, hey, we're going to sign him to a contract that we're fine with if we have Damian Lillard or not. And if we don't, then we're going to look at him as a nice veteran leader and a guy we could probably trade down the line. So I think that is something, we should keep an eye on going in there. People got a little crazy with how much, Jeremy Grant is making, and it's a lot to be fair, but it's not, so egregious where it's, he didn't get the max or anything. He's got an under $30 million salary this year. And we're at a point where the way the salary cap is structured now, an under $30 million salary is pretty easy to move these days. You're talking, combine a couple salaries together and go from there. In Portland, if they do a move like that, that further leans them into a, full-scale rebuild, and they might be willing to take back a questionable salary if the other team, plusses it up with draft picks or young players or whatever. So I think Jeremy Grant's going to be a guy, they'll get interest in him for sure, but I think you're going to see that one be hey, when we get to the trade deadline, who needs a forward? Who's really looking for some, forward depth that is a title contender and needs a guy to push them over the top? Hey, let's have a conversation about Jeremy Grant.
Well, training camps open early next week, and for the Celtics, you just said kind of going into the offseason, it seemed like it was Celtics and then Bucks. Maybe now that's flipped because of the Damian Lillard trade. But going into next week, what are some things you're going to be, some storylines you're going to be following with the Celtics and some questions that you're going to be looking for answers of in training camp in Boston?
Yeah, primarily it's, how is Kristaps Porzingis feeling and how is Malcolm Brogdon feeling? Now we're getting good reports on both guys, especially Porzingis. It came out the other day that from Brad Stevens, he said both of them were good and going to be ready to go for the start of training camp. And then we're just getting reports, these guys are all in their local areas now for the most part and doing informal practices and scrimmaging and those kind of things. And the report was he scrimmaged with teammates yesterday and came out of it feeling good and looked really good throughout the course of the scrimmage. Now, Brogdon, we're going to see. 100% ready for camp could mean, he's going to be out there running, but that doesn't mean he's doing anything beyond that. So we're going to see what the deal is with him, as he had that elbow injury in the Eastern Conference Finals that really, cost him the end of his season, and he wasn't able to finish strong. And then obviously, there's going to be questions asked to him and to the team of, where do we go? Where are we at with this relationship between Malcolm Brogdon and the Celtics, as he was traded, right? There's no way around it. He was traded to the Clippers, and then that all fell apart, and then, got reworked, and he's still with Boston. And by all accounts, all the other reporting that's come out is the Celtics have continued to talk to him in trades, since that moment. So I think, there's going to be questions asked of him and of the team of, where are we at with this, with him, and, where are we going? Because he's clearly a key part of things, or he's going to be a key part of salary matching in a trade and something like that.
Keith, I love asking reporters of all sports, if you could be embedded through camp all the way until opening night among these first year or these new coaches in places, whether it's Ime Udoka in Houston, Adrian Griffin in Milwaukee, Nick Nurse in Philadelphia, Monty Williams in Detroit, Frank Vogel in Phoenix, or Darko Rajakovic in Toronto, where would you like to be to get a firsthand view of them in their first camp with their new teams?
Yeah, it's a really good question because, for drama reasons, I want to say Nick Nurse in Philadelphia because of the whole James Harden situation. But I think I'd pick, realistically, Frank Vogel in the Suns, just because I think it's such a fascinating way of building a roster and then kind of handing it over to the coach and saying, here you go, make it work. He doesn't have a point guard, right? He doesn't have a guy who has historically run an offense that way. And that's, we all know in basketball, the point guard is the extension of the coach on the floor, and he doesn't have that. Now he doesn't even have the guy, Frank Vogel and staff have been sitting down and thinking of, all right, here's how we're going to build our defensive game plan and our coverages, all with the idea of DeAndre Ayton being the backbone around the rim, and now they don't have that. They're going to have to rework that. So I would pick Phoenix just because, I think there's so much fascinating stuff. But really, you could put me in just about any one of those places, and I'd feel pretty good because I think we're going to have a lot of fun stories coming out of all of them.
Keith, last thing for you. The Nuggets obviously enter the season looking to defend their championship from last year, and I know there's still some questions to be answered, but when you look at this Nuggets roster going into the season, how do you feel about their chances to repeat this year?
Yeah, I don't understand why they've been pushed so far down. And I mean, I do. I get it, right? They're not a public team,
right.
So the odds makers aren't going to put them there. And there's nothing shiny and new about the Nuggets. Damian Lillard's not there, and they're not the Lakers who rebuilt everything. They're not the Celtics with Kristaps Porzingis and all that stuff. But what they are, they're the champs, and they're really, really good. I get it. They lost Bruce Brown, major contributor there. But they feel like Christian Brown is ready for a bigger role and ready to take that on. They believe in a lot of the other guys on their bench. And when it comes right down to it, they still have the best player in the world right now, Nikola Jokic. And they have, in my mind, the best starting five in the entire NBA as far as balance and, the way they work together and cohesiveness. So, for me, I still have Denver as my favorite to, come out and be right there in the title mix. But yeah, it is funny how many people have seemingly just kind of forgotten about them and overlooked them. And you know what? So I bet Michael Malone and the guys, I don't think they really care a bit. They're probably fine of saying, hey, don't care about us. We're just going to go to work next week and we'll see what happens.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you're right about that.
Ring ceremony and banner, that'll do their talking.
Yeah, it really will.
Yeah.
Well, Keith, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do it again next Thursday.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Keith.
Thank you very much, Keith Smith, with us every week, and we're getting close. And with that, we're getting closer to being at FedEx Forum at Grizzlies and Tigers game. And Sissy's Log Cabin, they're with us, and they're with the Memphis Tigers. They're the official jeweler of the Memphis Grizzlies. They sell exclusive, officially licensed Memphis Grizzlies jewelry consisting of an assortment of earrings, necklaces, rings, bracelets, and other accessories. So much fun to visit with Lamar McCubbin, the president of Sissy's Log Cabin, with us. And we love doing the look back at the weekend of the SEC every Monday at 4:30. And Sissy's Log Cabin, they're with the Tigers. Multi-year partnership include enhancements to football and basketball with the Tigers, and the official sponsor of the Kiss Cam, unique branding at various other athletic events, but so proud to be part of the hometown teams with the Memphis Tigers and the Memphis Grizzlies. Potential opening dates coming soon for the new brand new expanded Sissy's Log Cabin, and they're more than just a jewelry store, known for extraordinary service, selection, experience, and quality. So whether you're shopping for someone special or looking to add to your timepiece collection, Sissy's Log Cabin, they have you covered. They are Memphis's jeweler for a lifetime.
Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we got to preview tonight's Thursday night football game in the NFL between the Lions and the Packers. But before we get to this break, here's a traffic update.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. I'm seeing several cars over here involved in this crash. They're moved over to the side, just in a terrible spot on 240 East at Mill Branch. It's really aggravating that traffic flow in that area because it's already heavy there this time of the afternoon. Again, that's 240 East at Mill Branch on this crash. As the traffic volume really picks up, even more so on 55 down through DeSoto County. It's increased even more with that volume on 55 South, where it's pretty slow now across the bridge coming over from West Memphis. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. Is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG,
high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
It's time to go where the season takes you, and it's the season for savings at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Go for miles more with 43 MPG Highway in your 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage. $17,815 or $229 a month. 2024 Eclipse Cross eludes sleek and sporty style at $29,695 or $399 a month. Discover the new 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SUV with 3rd row and 7-passenger seating. Now $29,885 or $449 a month. And they're all equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. We're ready to put you in a new ride today at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 84 months, Mirage RH 00782, MSRP 18315, Eclipse RZ 001693, MSRP 30445, Outlander RZ 005762, MSRP 31385, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Golfers, swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new fall arrivals from TaylorMade, Callaway, and Titleist. Come by and test drive the new TaylorMade P790 irons, the new Callaway Apex Pro iron sets, and the new Titleist T-Series irons. While you're there, get a free custom fitting on the new arrivals and more. Edwin Watts Golf Shops is your headquarters for all the latest golf gear from all the top manufacturers. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Shop us in store or online at edwinwattsgolf.com.
Sports and blinds, they just go together. And right now, all Sports 56 listeners get $50 off any order at Blinds Etc. South. Real wood, 3.5 to 4.5 inch plantation shutters made in the Mid-South are always affordable at Blinds Etc. South. And now get $50 off your order. Get your free in-home consultation at 901-681-0225 or go to blindsetcetera.southllc.com. Upgrade your home with custom-made plantation shutters and window treatments from Blinds Etc. South.
All 36 months, 650 acquisition fee, Forte LSX, PE 678605, MSRP 21610, Nero P507859, MSRP 41090, EV6 P561094, MSRP 49687, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/2/2023 with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Hey, Jeff Allen, I hear Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah is about to blow my socks off.
That's right, Randy. Get 41 MPG Highway with the 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $229 a month, $29.99 do-it signing.
What about those cool new EVs?
I've got EV action with the 2023 Nero EV Win SUV, 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $269 a month, $49.99 do-it signing. And the 2023 Kia EV6 Win, 134 city, 101 highway MPGE, $399 a month, $49.99 do-it signing. Plus, you'll get a free charger with every EV purchase, all 36-month lease.
And Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian and Brett with you as we're sitting in our family leisure studios. And it's Thursday, so you know what that means. Thursday night football is back. Lions-Packers tonight. I believe Lions a slight favorite tonight last time I checked on the road. I'm excited about this game, though. I think two teams that have been impressive. Obviously, the Lions, after what they did at the end of last season, came in with a lot of hype, a lot of expectations, and then the Packers turning to Jordan Love. thought his looked pretty solid so far through 3 weeks.
He's been very solid. I'm looking forward to the game. We have all the action right here. I'll be listening to it, and heard the promo earlier of Ian Engel and Big Joe Thomas on the call.
I love it.
Joe Thomas is analyst tonight with Ian Engel, and I think Joe Thomas will be great in this. But here's the thing about it: you could put a mop in there with Ian Engel. And it'll be good.
And it's going to be good stuff. I mean, so you're absolutely right about that. And I really enjoy listening to these games on the radio. And, I'll do a lot. I'll be leaving.
That's how I listen.
I mean, I'll be leaving here at 7, and I'll turn it on the way home. And, I mean, it's hard to beat Ian Engel. And so having him on all of these games is really, really cool to hear. But this should be a fun one to watch.
And come March, in the Jim Nantz chair, in the A-team chair, will be Ian Eagle, and he'll be fantastic. He does network TV every week and occasional Westwood One coverage on radio, like Thursdays and Mondays, and he's Brooklyn Nets local TV, right, with Richard Jefferson. Isn't that their broadcast team?
I'm pretty positive. I'm going to make sure, but I think you're right. Yeah, that's the team up there in Brooklyn.
But no baseball. He's not all over the country doing baseball during the summer, is he?
I've never
I don't
heard
think
him
so.
doing any baseball. So
and now in the big chair for college basketball, we're gonna get into this NFL game tonight and the NFL. But I am loving the Jonah Dillon stories around the 20th anniversary of the 2002 Memphis Tigers, New Orleans Bowl champions, a first bowl appearance in 32 years, and as I like to say, the fun New Orleans Bowl, the one you went to as a mere babe in your mother's arms. I didn't go to it. I went to the unfun one in 2007 against Howard Schnellenberger and Florida Atlantic. But I'm loving these stories, and it'll be a big celebration this weekend. Danny Wimprine, beloved Tiger, Gostkowski, and, of course, I think the greatest Tiger football player ever, D'Angelo Williams. And that 2003 Memphis Tigers beat Ole Miss by 10. I think that's pretty handily that year. And this weekend, Ole Miss is celebrating that team because that was a 10-3 team that won the Cotton Bowl that year. The 3 losses to Memphis, to Texas Tech, and to LSU. But they're celebrating that, and Eli Manning's going to be there. So 20 years goes fast, doesn't it, Bryant?
Sure does. I mean, that's most of my lifetime. But no, I'm really excited. I haven't been able to read the story yet. From Jonah Dillon. I'm excited. I mean, we've talked about it before. I mean, I was 3 during that game and was at the hotel, went to that bowl game.
Made your TV appearance?
Made my TV appearance. I always joke with Greg Gaston about it to make him feel old. So, no, a lot of good memories. I mean, I remember Danny Wimprine, who they had on mornings yesterday, I believe. But Danny Wimprine, I remember, when I was 8 or 9 following the Voodoo arena football team because he was their quarterback, and I just loved Danny Wimprine so much. And a lot of guys from that team. So that's another reason. I've said it. Me and my buddies are real excited to go just be able to see Boise State, a team that our childhood when we were younger was kind of that top group of 5 surprise team. But also to be able to see a lot of these guys again and to see that celebration for that 2003 team might be what I'm most excited about all weekend.
Believe it or not, when I tell you. When I asked you kind of rhetorically, jokingly, guess where I was? I was not at the Memphis Ole Miss game that year. I wasn't with Ole Miss then. No, of all places, I'm in Tuscaloosa for Mike Shula in Alabama against big game Bob Stoops in OU that night.
Oh man!
And Alabama should have beat them.
And that sounds like a.
And Alabama wasn't very good.
Wow! Was it a close game?
Oh yeah, real close game and. Had them beat. Jason White went on and won the Heisman Trophy that year at quarterback for OU. And late in the game, Alabama tries a fake punt, and the guy is wide open. I mean, he would still be running. And by the cuticles of your fingernails, the OU player deflected it. Well, that was the ball right there because that was essentially, it was 4th down. Our Bama wins. I think that was Mike Shula's first year And they were 2 or 3-0 at that point. It was a September game, and blast furnace hot everywhere that weekend at games. But I was not at Eli Manning against Danny Wimprine. Wouldn't you say in Tiger football lore legend, big four quarterbacks in some order, Brady White, Riley Ferguson, Paxton Lynch, Danny Wimprine?
I would, but I also want to sit this one out because all four of those quarterbacks are the only quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life, pretty much.
Well, you've seen really good years though, Brian. I mean, arguably, and it was so fun at that time. Look, everybody loved Tommy West around town. Media, Tiger boosters. It just kind of timed out at the end for him, as it kind of always gets coaches. But at that time, the Tigers made a calculated move of maybe losing some of these bigger name home and homes or even 2-for-1s and play a schedule to start a bowl game history. Now, they beat Ole Miss that year with Eli Manning. That's a great win. And it worked. And Tommy West was an advocate of that. We got to start going to bowl games and giving people something to remember. And I'm reading this story by Jonah Dillon and talking about after the game in New Orleans. And a lot of bowl games can be quite creative for a lot of teams. Dave Woloshin has said on these airwaves, going to Final Fours it's the thing.
Right.
But he said that night at the hotel at the Marriott on Canal, that victory party, that celebration, maybe in his time doing all these games, all these countless hours and trips doing games, calling for the Memphis Tigers and coaches shows and things, that may have been one of his favorite times.
Wow. I heard him talking this morning. He was talking about this game coming up and everything, and he said that I guess after the game that night that Tommy West, his wife, and his kid came back into the hotel, and that everybody was down there celebrating, and that it just almost like the seas parted, and they were just able to kind of walk through, and everybody was cheering, but everyone got out of their way so that they could walk to the elevator and get up to their room, which I thought was such a cool story. But I believe it. I mean, like I said, I was very young when it happened. I remember very few things from that day and from that game, but it's one of my best memories, just kind of being able to be there for that game. So I'm really happy that they were able to put this together and be able to honor that team back, 20 years ago now.
And I just wonder, with Middle Tennessee playing tonight, I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to hear Dave this morning, and I think I just repeated a story he told this morning. You confirmed it. I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to. Well,
you didn't. It was a little different. I mean, same story, but it was a little different than the way you told it.
Dave loves telling it. I mean,
he does. It's a good story.
He's sincere about it. It was a special time. But, I mean, people couldn't believe. I mean, we're at a Tiger Bowl win. And now we've kind of gotten used to it. It's why, along my theme of Arkansas and Ole Miss, kind of grousing about these two head coaches and, a little bit at Ryan Silverfield. And in my top story today, I said, nobody wants to go backwards. But remember where we came from. Don't take for granted these bowls and bowl strip. Will Tommy West be here? Because Middle plays tonight. He's D-line coach at Middle. I wonder if he'll be back this weekend. I hope he does. I know there was I know there was acrimony. I've never seen a pretty firing or a pretty divorce. I know there was acrimony. I would hope that it is. Settle down some, and he can be back and be part of the festivities. Have you heard if he's going to be?
I haven't heard one way or the other. I didn't hear Dave say anything this morning on his
Dave
show.
Would know.
But, I had that same thought this morning of thinking, Middle plays tonight, and so I hope he's able to get away and they can make that happen to bring him back to celebrate him. Because I think for a lot of people, that speech, during that firing, that speech of if you want to have a football program, you got to put time and effort into it, and very fired up about this program, even on his way out.
He loved his time.
Oh, absolutely. And so I think a lot of Memphis fans kind of hold that to heart and kind of remember that press conference and point back to, we had to go through a couple of years after that, but that was really what started the fire that got to the Justin Fuente years and to the Mike Norvell years and now the Ryan Silverfield years. So I really do hope, I don't know one way or the other, but I really do hope that they're able to get him here for Saturday.
And it'd make it even more fun if he came here after a good win for him and Rick Stockstill and that staff at Middle. They play tonight in a game that I don't. The bowl math gets tough for Middle if they drop that one tonight.
Yeah, it really does. Well, 1-3 right now on the season, going up against Western Kentucky, who's about 2-2 on the year, and I thought got beat pretty handedly against Ohio State, but I thought showed some good ththings against Ohio State. So that's probably number one on my viewing card tonight in terms of those 3 college football games. I'm really excited about that one.
I know this weekend we're going to work up an appetite. We got some great options for all the weekend. Got 2 great options with the commissary. Either place, the new Collierville commissary, Houston Levy and Poplar, or the original in Germantown. Perfect for big game watching tonight or into the weekend. If you can't make it out to the stadium on Saturday, you need to head out to the stadium on Saturday with tailgating stuff from the commissary. But if you can't do that, watch it at the commissary. Watch all the games at Houston Levy and Poplar. That Memphis-style barbecue, the ribs, the barbecue, all delicious, and it screams the Memphis slow-cooked way. If you're craving an easier way to order, you can text commissary to 33733 right now, 33733, and start that feast with the great appetizers that are all could be entrees, but you got to go slow and pace yourself with the smoked chicken wings, the tamales, the barbecue nachos invented at the Germantown commissary in the early 80s, or the cheese plate, and then dig into the ribs or the shoulder, chopped or pulled on a plate, on a sandwich, all the sides, slaw, beans, bread, deviled eggs. You can order it by the pound and perfect for tailgating, the 6-pack or the 8-pack or the 12-pack for anywhere this weekend that you might be wanting to travel to and enjoy football. Start with the commissary and those desserts like the lemon icebox pie, the banana pudding, the strawberry cake. Here's the number, 901-754-5540, or online at commissarybbq.com in Collierville and Germantown. Those party areas, orders to go, catering, tailgating, and coming soon. We'll be talking about the holiday bird. All at the commissary, 901-754-5540, or online at commissarybbq.com.
Well, and tonight we talked about Thursday night football tonight between the Lions and the Packers. Right now, Lions a 2-point favorite for tonight's game. And when you're looking at kind of the availability of some of these guys, Aaron Jones and Christian Watson, who were both out last week for the Packers, they're both listed as questionable tonight, and guard Zach Tom is also listed as questionable tonight for Green Bay. So I think this is going to be a really good game. I'm excited to see what Jordan Love can do through his first interception last week, but then mounted that comeback against New Orleans. But if they can go in here tonight at home with Aaron Jones and Christian Watson both available and able to play, I think Green Bay has a pretty good shot tonight.
I like Green Bay tonight in this game, and this is a good quarterback matchup, Goff versus
really
Love, and so far the numbers are decided for Jordan Love, but I do like this game for these teams, and this is an early claim for NFC North.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a big game for sure. And so, I mean, we know I mentioned it earlier, kind of that hype that has been generated around Detroit. A lot of people kind of like this young group of guys in Detroit, but with Green Bay, also kind of that same style of turning that corner. No more Aaron Rodgers. You're moving it now to your quarterback of the future and Jordan Love. And so I'm interested to see what they can do. I know when we talked to Bruce Marshall a lot of Fridays, he really likes his Green Bay team and likes them a lot as underdogs. I mean, 3 games so far in the books, I think in at least 2 of them, maybe all 3 of them, they've been underdogs. So I know Bruce likes Green Bay usually as an underdog. I don't know what he likes in this game tonight, but I kind of like Green Bay in the underdog spot tonight.
I do too, and will be a fun scene just for those 2 established franchises to be playing on Prime Video.
Here we go. I mean, yep, streaming service, Brett. Thought we were going to hook you up to all of it. I thought we were going to get you streaming.
Yeah.
You're going to have to soon. I mean,
we're getting closer.
Well, heck, I mean, sports is getting closer to just going streaming. I mean, it seems like every weekend now there's 3 or 4 games on a streaming service.
A long, long time ago when Detroit played home games at Tiger Stadium,
right?
Sidelines were shared, just like in Minneapolis with the Vikings.
Wow. Wow. I mean, that's hard to believe. I mean, seeing two, especially in football. Like, I know it happens in soccer. I know it happens in lacrosse.
We probably needed to move on from that.
Probably. It's probably good to keep football players from opposing teams separated from each other.
Can you imagine these college football rivalries, a shared sideline?
You know, Johnny, he works with the Tigers football team. Johnny, could you see the Tigers being on the same sidelines? Who do we want to say the Tigers are on the same sidelines with, Brett?
Tennessee.
Tennessee. You think Memphis and Tennessee?
No.
No from Johnny. So no, I don't think that will work out. I think it's better for everybody that we've moved away from that.
Yeah, and even in the NFL, you can talk all you want about pros being pros.
Well, I mean, I just watched Nevis for the Astros strike out Julio Rodriguez last night and walk towards him, staring him down, yelling at him, and it caused the benches to clear. So, yeah, don't give me the professionals are going to be professionals, because I see bench clearings all the time. I see, these little fights and stuff in football all the time. So, yeah, I think it's good. But this should be a really fun game tonight. Detroit and Green Bay. Like I mentioned, Detroit, a 2-point favorite. It's going to be on Prime Video, but you can listen to all the action right here on Sports 56. And while I'm telling you about tonight's game, let me tell you about this weekend very quickly. On Saturday, we'll have Ole Miss versus LSU. That coverage will start at 3 p.m. And then on Sunday, we'll have 3 games for you. Dolphins, Bills at noon. Raiders, Chargers at 3 p.m. Chiefs, Jets, that 7 o'clock game. And then on Monday, we'll have Seahawks and Giants, that Monday night football game that's going to be on ESPN. But you can catch all of that action right here on Sports 56 all weekend long. But let's get to a break, and when we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Wow, I feel good. Shopping at Drive Max. Drive Max. Drive Max. You get value.
Need a car that screams I feel good? DriveMax has it all. From cars to SUVs, find a tightly inspected used car that'll have you dancing all the way home. Call 901-664-2424 or visit DriveMaxApproval.com.
DriveMax, I got approved.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair because they just don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance carriers each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. This is why you call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates and consultation and love to assist homeowners with their claims. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, and diagnosing problems is second to none. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. And the best part of all you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and even Mulehide. We offer best-in-class warranties on all of our jobs, up to 50 years. When it comes to roofs and restoration, call Metro Builders to schedule your free inspection. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Want to play a private country club but only pay daily greens fees? Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis is your place. You can now play a beautiful, challenging course for only $59 plus tax, including cards. Meadowbrook Country Club features champion Bermuda greens and now is available to everyone. A membership is only $350 per month and includes tennis, pickleball, and swimming, plus a great restaurant and bar. Golf Pro Mark can even fix you up with custom-made tricks on clubs. Call 870-394-4186 today for your Tuesday through Sunday tee time at Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis.
It doesn't matter if you're at the lake, if you're hunting, fishing, playing golf, or just playing around, Scooters Plus can hook you up with the mobility that you need. Scooters Plus has the largest vehicle and parts inventory in the Mid-South and the best service department. You can choose from ATVs, UTVs, golf carts, motorcycles, dirt bikes, trikes, scooters, and even electric bikes. Come in today to start or wrap up your holiday shopping with 25% down on Christmas layaways. Scooters Plus, 3425 Summer Avenue. Call Sam at 458-8843 or go online to scootersplus.us.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, my big number today, I had a couple that I could go through, but I'll go with this one. I saw it earlier today, and I thought it was interesting. My big number is 93. J.P. Crawford for the Seattle Mariners leads the AL in walks this season with 93. Makes sense. He's the leadoff hitter. There's a reason they have him that high in the order. It's because he finds ways to get on bases, and part of that is because of all the walks. The last shortstop, and this is based on primary position in a season, the last shortstop to lead the league in walks was Pee Wee Reese in 1947.
The little Colonel.
Yeah,
we've talked about old Pee Wee this summer, haven't we?
We sure have. The last AL shortstop to do so was Ray Chapman in 1918. So J.P. Crawford.
I got nothing on Ray Chapman.
Yeah, I don't either. But J.P. Crawford doing something that really hadn't been done since the 40s.
I got plenty on Araldus Chapman.
Right.
I got nothing on
not old
what
Ray.
was his name?
Ray Chapman.
Oh, not old Ray. No. Hit the Google machine on Ray while I give mine. We'll see what other claims to fame he had. My big number. It's a big number. It's an odd number. 440. That's the consecutive games without being shut out for the Florida Gators. That leads everyone in college football. They haven't been shut out since 1988. TCU's second, Michigan's third, BYU's fourth. Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech tied for fifth at 361. Nebraska seventh at 343. And the Tigers' opponent on Saturday, Boise State, at 329. That's where I lifted it from their game notes. I want to give them credit. And I want you to go through and read the Boise State game notes.
I'll have to.
Very cleverly put together.
Really?
I mean, it is really good. It's got a lot of minutia, as game notes have. But you read it and you come back and tell me, but I want the Tigers to break Boise State's streak Saturday. Shut them out.
Well, Brett, you know how much I love game notes, so I'm going to make a priority to look at Boise State's game notes tonight. But looking at our buddy Ray Chapman, played 9 years for Cleveland from 1912 to 1920. Career batting average 278 for old Ray. The year he had 84 walks, 267 batting average, but with all those walks, on base percentage 390. So,
see, I would have lost a big bet today that you would have had an Acuna number from last night or from this year.
I was going to, and then I couldn't find one that really got me that excited. Even though, I could just say 40-70, and that gets me excited. But no, I went a little off the wall. I was watching the Mariners game. I shouldn't say I watched the whole thing last night because I got frustrated about the 7th inning and turned it off and said I'm going to bed. I had my Alexa. Oh, I gotta be careful saying Alexa. But I had my device in my room that you can speak to it and it'll tell you things. And can
it hear you now? Why were you scared to say it?
Well, maybe some people, if they're listening at home, or maybe they have a device next to them.
That would prompt
if
theirs?
I say Alexa, it might prompt their device. So yeah, so you gotta be
Is
careful.
That right?
Oh yeah, so you gotta be careful saying the names of these things. Same thing with Siri on Apple. If you say hey, and then you say Siri, if you said those right next to each other, a lot of phones and stuff would think you're talking to them. But I got to bed and I said, hey, what's the score of the Mariners game? And it was like 8-3. And I was like, all right, yep, going to bed. So that was my number to try to give me some hope for the Mariners.
Do you believe me now that all I do is watch sports? That I didn't even know about these prompts. I've never ever had. I just look up a score. I mean, it's coming a million miles for me to grab my phone and go to the MLB app.
Well, I mean, now, Brett, I can just ask a little device, and it'll tell me what the score of the game is. Live, too. The game wasn't even over. It was a live score.
So, Acuna's going to win MVP in the National League. Don't even send out the ballots, right?
Yep.
Shohei in the American League? Don't even send out the ballots?
I think so. Yeah.
Who's better? There's you some hot takery.
Acuna.
He doesn't pitch.
Hey, tell me the last time we've seen 40-70.
And tell me the last time Shohei pitched.
That's a good point. That's another good point. And tell me the next time he's going to pitch. Well, I shouldn't have said that.
And tell me where Shohei's team finished in the standings.
Yeah, it's another good point, yeah. And I mean, the fact that been shut down for a while and, kind of forgetting about Shohei. I mean, he hadn't played in a really long time because of that injury and won't
But he wins MVP in the AL, right?
I think so. I can't think of anybody else that would surpass him in that, even though he's
Who
been
would
shut
have
down.
ever believed that Anaheim would become, the illusions of baseball, just forgotten there. Pujols got forgotten there. Trout's anonymity. Now Shohei's.
Josh
how
Hamilton,
did that
same
happen?
thing. Yeah, I mean, who knows?
At one time?
Who knows?
I mean, the Angels are going to finish next to last in the American League. I mean, I can finish in next to last without Shohei and Mike Trout.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame when you look at the thought of, oh, wow, you've got Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout in the same lineup playing on the same team. That's incredible. And I mean, and the even crazier thing to think about is that team was firmly in the wild card race, firmly in a wild card position at trade deadline. And then immediately went straight down, skyrocketed straight down to the bottom, and it's really sad to see. And so, who knows what happens next week? We know Shohei won't be a part of this Angels franchise moving forward, but what do they do going forward? And there won't be all of that popularity and kind of pizzazz around that organization without that guy like Shohei pitching and hitting for them. But it'll be interesting to see what happens over there. But that'll do it for our second hour. Let's go ahead, grab a break. When we come back to start our third and final hour, we'll talk some Tigers with Greg Gaston.
Howdy folks, Dominic Cunha, General Manager at Sunrise Buick GMC on Covington Pike. Our Western Trading Day sales event is here again. My ranch managers have been instructed to slash prices, so if you're looking for a great deal, don't look any further. New Buicks and GMCs, discounts up to $6,500 and a $12 million used car inventory. The Sunrise Ranch on the Pike is the place to go. Bad credit, bankruptcy, slow pay, that's okay. Here at Sunrise, we specialize in secondary financing and used cars below $69.95. Visit us online at sunriseonthepike.com or in person, 1800 Covington Pike.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
We interrupt this broadcast for special news and information concerning family leisure.
The world's biggest spa sale is back and bigger than ever at Family Leisure. How is that possible? Well, let me tell you. You start off with 50 different spa models to choose from 5 different manufacturers. Then you throw in up to 30% off in-stock spas and swim spas. But is that all? Oh, no. You get free upgrades on all in-stock spas, plus 24 months, same as cash. Wow! This is the kind of sale that you just can't have every day. But it's happening right now at Family Leisure, the world's biggest spa sale. Soak in the savings right now at Family Leisure, Witten Road and I-40. You know the place where family and fun come together.
Please remain calm and walk. Don't run to Family Leisure. And now back to your regular programming.
Ready for a new ride? We got it covered at Gossett Kia on the Pike. 41 MPG Highway, we got it with 2023 Kia Forte LXS. $229 a month, $29.99 to its signing. Get some EV action in 2023 Nero EV Wind SUV. 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $269 a month, $49.99 to its signing. Plus, check out 2023 Kia EV6 Wind. Get up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGE, $399 a month, $49.99 to its signing. And Gossett will include a free charger with your EV purchase, all 36-month leases, plus Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36 months, 650 acquisition fee, Forte LSX, PE 678,605, MSRP 21,610, Nero P507,859, MSRP 41,090, EV6, P56,109,64, MSRP 49,687, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details, offer valid through 10/2/2023 with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia to Central Park in New York, but many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 a person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You can just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Already starting to get pretty heavy over here on 40 East at Sycamore View Road all the way out to Germantown Parkway. It's crowded right now trying to get out of Midtown, especially on 240 South from Union all the way down to Norris as that traffic picks up over here at Chelsea on 40, mostly going eastbound. Still a little bit heavy at times. Cross the bridge on 55 southbound over from West Memphis. Weimer's Jewelry, they're back open better than ever. Go by and see them at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
From the Tigers sideline, it's Tigers Talk with Memphis broadcasting legend Greg Gaston. Hear Greg weekday mornings on Sports 56 Mornings along with Eli Savoy from 7 to 10 right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. On Twitter X at Greg_Gaston. Here's Greg with Bryant, Brett, and Jay Morgan.
Greg Gaston joins us now to talk Tigers. You can hear him on this station every single morning with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli. Greg, thanks so much for joining us. How was the weekend in St. Louis?
Wasn't too bad. Would have liked that the Memphis Tigers come away with a victory, but pretty good effort nonetheless. A great crowd, good atmosphere. And I had a pretty good time personally in St. Louis. Had a bunch of family members up there, so thanks for asking. Yeah. Not too shabby, Brian.
Good. Glad to hear it.
And Greg, next week you're going to be with us on Tuesday. Is that right?
Ooh.
Yes, Tuesday. I'm doing a little surgery on Wednesday during the Tigers bye week. So thank you for being very accommodating through my segment to Tuesday.
And be very, very. Yeah. I know you'll be in good hands, but all the best to you next week. Boy,
Thank
open
you.
date for you going under the knife for the Memphis Tigers. How great a feeling will it be to head into that open date with just that one loss, very respectable loss at Mizzou, but and take care of business against boys. That would almost be the dream scenario, wouldn't it?
Well, we were talking last week, Brett, about the murderer's row of these three games, right? Missouri, Boise, and Tulane. And if you win 2 out of 3, you're sitting pretty. And obviously the Tulane game is a conference game, so you're sitting really pretty. But to do that, they got to win on Saturday, or you're looking at least 2, if not 3 losses out of that stretch, and then that's when depression sets in. So let's think half full guy, right? Let's think about the optimistic side, and that is, as you just said, get a win. You go into the off week, you're feeling really good about yourself. You have a lot of time to prep for Tulane, which right now is the top team in the conference over the last couple of years. So this is an extremely important game. I do understand it's not a conference game. I get that. It has nothing to do with the conference championship game, which Memphis is hoping to make at the end. But let's be honest. To have cachet like Boise State in town, the home streak that they have won the bulk of their games over the last decade at home. They're playing, again, pretty good football, sitting at 3-1 despite coming off the loss. Hopefully a really nice crowd in front of what should be beautiful weather. And the 2003 New Orleans Bowl team being saluted over the Friday-Saturday weekend. It sets up extremely nice for a Tigers W to feel really good about themselves moving forward.
And Greg, I think I can't be alone. I think I learned more about the Memphis Tigers against Mizzou than I had in any of those previous 3 wins.
There's no doubt about it. Look, against Bethune-Cookman, you didn't learn anything. You learned maybe a tad more against Arkansas State, but that was a really poor performance by Arkansas State, and Memphis had a lot to do with that. And then against Navy, you kind of throw it out the window after it's done, right? You hope to survive, to beat Navy with their – certainly it's not unusual because they do it every single year, but when you look at the scope of things in football, the triple option offense is very, very rare anymore except for the service academy. So, yes, you don't get a great gauge of where they are. And in this particular game, look, the Tigers were their own worst enemies. They made some mistakes. Sure, they gave up over 500 yards. There were breakdowns in the defense. But it wasn't like they walked in there and got clobbered like they did the last time they met Missouri. It was certainly not a neutral field. It was definitely a road game. It was a hostile environment. It was loud. They start off the game. They're without their top 2 kickers. They have to throw in a young guy who did a really nice job. And again, I thought they held up well. I thought physically they matched Missouri, and that was really the area I was scared the most about. And then second was trying to settle down Burden, keep him in check, and they couldn't. The guy's too fast. They got other speedy guys on the outside. They took advantage of that speed, and they took advantage of some of that size difference that they had with those SEC caliber players. But I thought, again, I'm not into moral victories, neither is the team, but I thought they fared pretty well for a tough battle in a tough environment.
Well, Greg, you mentioned Tanner Gillis, the third string kicker that had to play in that game on Saturday. We talked to Dave Woloshin earlier this week, and he said that it was kind of game time when y'all heard about that the 2 kickers in front of him weren't going to be playing. That pregame had already started. But have you heard any updates about those 2 kickers and their availability for Saturday?
It'll be Gillis. Gillis
Wow.
will go on Saturday. Yeah, it was very unusual because we meet with the coaches, as you know, and they're pretty open with us. But for whatever reason, Ryan Silverfield wanted to keep this one close to the vest, did not talk at all about that. Now, granted, we never asked about special teams for the kickers. We didn't think it was an issue. But when I found out about 90 minutes before the game, those 2 guys didn't even travel with the team, said, wow, we're in for something completely new. And we were with that young man, Gillis, who is a local guy, a local product, and he really did well. Now, this weekend and moving forward, if he has to be your kicker, he is limited. He doesn't have this huge leg where he's booting 60-yarders. And so they're going to be cautious with him on where they will decide to go for kicks and where they will decide to go for it in fourth down situations. So something to keep an eye on, certainly in a tight game.
And for the Tigers, I talk about that impression I had from that loss, a very competitive loss, a game that could have been won. I won't go shoulda, but certainly was there for the taking for the Memphis Tigers a lot of the night. Missouri's offensive and defensive line and that defensive intensity, I don't know if that Memphis sees that again this year. Now, a healthy Michael Pratt with the Tulane offense, they might see an offense like that, but they may not see either side of the ball like that again this year.
Yeah, again, SEC caliber players, and they knew what they were facing in that offensive line for Missouri, but also with that defensive front with a couple of edge rushers that could be playing in the National Football League, some big-time defensive backs. And the key, first of all, was whether or not they would be able to hang in there as far as the physicalness of this game. Not only did they hang in there, I thought they were just as physical as Missouri. Now, mind you, they wore down in that fourth quarter. Schrader was able to get his yards in that fourth quarter, and they put it on ice at the very end. But still, Memphis hung tough and ended up losing by a touchdown. But I think you're right, Brett. From a physical standpoint, and Navy was physical, but nothing compared to what Missouri was. I don't think they'll face as physical a team. But yes, with Tulane, and we'll talk about that next week, they're going to certainly face an extremely talented team that with Michael Pratt is very capable of doing what they did last year and getting back and playing in a big-time bowl game, a New Year's Six bowl game, but Memphis is going to try to derail that, and they want to be that team.
Well, you mentioned you mentioned Tulane, but this week Boise State on Saturday. What do you expect to see from Boise State on Saturday?
Okay, so this is a team I don't think is as physical as Missouri, but they're physical. Mm-hmm. And don't let 2-2 and that record deceive you. They played Washington. Right now, the Huskies are one of the top teams in the nation. They should have beaten UCF. It came down to the wire. They gave up a field goal, but they had outplayed UCF. So probably, and that's what the coaching staff was telling us today, the Memphis coaching staff, that they probably should be 3-1. They are big up front, big offensive lineman, a lot of weight there. They got an unbelievable running back who, believe it or not, started the year depth chart-wise number 2, but this Ashton Genty is the real deal. In fact, they were telling us that they think he's everything as good or better than Tajay Spears, who played for Tulane last year and is now playing with the Tennessee Titans.
Wow.
He's a physical running back. He has breakaway speed. And if you don't tackle him low, you try to tackle him high, you'll bounce right off the guy's thighs. He's strong, and I expect him to be a big part of their offense. They have a really strong-armed quarterback. He's not great, but he's capable. He can sling it 70 yards. His name is Talon Green. He can also run. More like they compared him to Kaepernick, what Kaepernick used to be when he was playing for Nevada and then on to the National Football League. So they got some quality players. They're not this incredibly fast team. And Memphis is hoping to expose them with some of their speed that they have on the outside. As far as their defense is concerned, I think it's a good defense, a solid defense, especially up front. They got some meat in the middle. I don't think it's a great defense, but I think it's a very solid Boise State team. You won't confuse this team with the Boise State team that beat Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl, but they are certainly a talented team, and they are good enough to come into Memphis and win this game.
Greg Gaston with us from the Tigers sideline, and he joins us every week. Next week it'll be on Tuesday to accommodate his schedule, and we're so glad to do it. It's brought to you by the law offices of Stephen Leffler, Mount Moriah Auto Sales, Chet Whitsett, your Cryolite Realtor, and Neil's Bar and Grill. So what will it be Saturday? Track meet first to 40, or can this game be won in the 20s for the Memphis Tigers?
Yeah, it could be, Brett, but I think it's going to be more of a high-scoring game. I expect this game to be at least similar to what we saw last week in Missouri, where it was, 61 points scored. I think it'll be above 61. I think you're looking more like a 70-point game. So I like the Memphis Tigers by a touchdown in this game. I know they're 3.5-point favorites. So looking more like it could be something like a 38-31 type game.
That'd be a fun game. That really would. I know one thing me and Brett have already talked about today, and a thing I'm really excited about for Saturday's game is honoring that 2003 team that went to the New Orleans Bowl, won it. As you know, Greg, you helped me get my first TV appearance in 2003 on your
Big Showbiz break.
Yeah, my Big Showbiz break. That's right. But what do you expect this weekend from that 2003 team, honoring them? I know you had Danny Wimprine on the show yesterday. I was so mad I missed that interview because I love Danny Wimprine. But what do you expect the reception to be like on Saturday for that 2003 team?
A lot of hugs, a lot of handshakes, a lot of smiles. There's a lot of players that haven't been able to get back to Memphis or to keep up with the program. Danny is one of them. And, the big-time quarterback who helped do what he did for Memphis and will go down as one of the great players in the history of the program, just has been busy working, being a dad of 4 kids in New Orleans, and tries to keep up when he can, but he told us that he just hasn't been able to do that. And then, of course, there's the great D'Angelo Williams, who I had a chance to see in Jonesboro at the Arkansas State game and talk to him during the broadcast. And D'Angelo gets back as much as he can, and he's been an integral part of the great alums of this program being there for this program, for this coaching staff, for these players. And so, there's just 2 of the big names that you'll see, but you'll see a lot of guys that played their role on the team. Danny was talking about, I asked him, who are you still close with? And he rattled off some names, including a bunch of offensive linemen, which make a lot of sense. And he said that a bunch of those guys will be there. He named a few guys that won't be there because of things going on with their lives. But I expect probably 60 or more of those players to be on hand for this reunion. So, yes, to answer your question, smiles, hugs, handshakes, and a lot of goodwill towards men.
And Greg, I haven't seen it, but I'm told at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium complex that recruiting room, which I think's on the Coliseum side of the stadium near the press box, that it's just fabulous.
Well, it's really nice, and they do a nice job in rolling out the red carpet, and they do expect a huge contingent of recruits to be on hand. So it's an extremely important game for all the reasons we just rattled off. Most importantly, obviously, to keep that, to win again, to go to 4-1, to have that momentum going into the bye week where they will have plenty of time to get ready for Tulane, and I think that will lead to a huge crowd. Although it will be a Friday night, I do understand that. So I say that a little bit apprehensive, knowing that sometimes people just can't make it because their kids are playing football and the kids themselves are playing football. So I understand.
That's for Tulane. This week against Boise, Saturday.
No, I'm saying that this win is so important to lead into that game. But no problem. But to have those people fired up and just excited about when they get to meet Tulane. Right. But this weekend, I will be disappointed if it's 25,000 announced again that they had for Bethune-Cookman and Navy. And look, I understand that there's about 22 to 25,000 of the diehards that are usually there for most games. But I think because it's Boise State. Boise State has kind of carried the banner of, if you will, the group of 5 for years now. I'm not saying they're the best team, but as far as programs are concerned, there's not too many, if any, that you can name from the group of 5 that has more prominence than Boise State. And plus, they've never played Memphis, so you're seeing something new. And I think people are excited to see a team that has some cachet, that is new, with a lot on the line, beautiful weather expected, as we just talked about the 2003 New Orleans Bowl team being honored. That's why I think it should be a really good crowd. And I was thinking about this, Brett, and you're the perfect guy to ask because your memory is uncanny. If you take out SEC teams that they've played at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium and take out any big conference game from the past, the UCFs, the Cincinnatis, as far as a non-conference opponent, are there any bigger here in recent memory? Am I missing somebody? I mean, Boise State is a huge name.
UCLA was real good in 2017. That was that 11 o'clock game. That was just an absolute sauna, toaster, miserable weather day. That was big. I would go back to Miami playing the U around 98, 99 into 2000 or so, somewhere in there. And that was an early season game and an early Saturday morning game. And then the U was kind of in between dynasties at that time. They were good, but it wasn't, it wasn't peak level U. But this would suffice. This is big time. And Greg, I promise you, I have not said, Bryant can attest, I have not said a single word this week about attendance. I wasn't going to. Now you drag me back in. I'm going to. I'm with you. I'm thinking, low side, this should be 36, 37, 38. And with that win, then that next Friday night against Tulane, that first number needs to be a 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's the point.
And not 4,000, and it won't be.
Exactly. Look, I will be disappointed if there isn't a 3 in the front of the numbers here on Saturday. I think it will be. Hopefully it's more toward, as you said, the middle or upper part of it. Who knows? But I'll take at least the number 3 to start things off. The Tulane game, again, you win this one, you're 4-1. You're feeling great. Tulane right now is the bell cow football-wise in the conference.
Cotton Bowl champs.
Yeah. That can certainly change, right. But I do concern myself with what I had said previously. It's a Friday night. There's high school football. The parents are with their kids. The grandparents are with their kids. Will they be able to make it to the game? We'll worry about that when it happens. They have to take care of business this weekend. Like I said, from the get-go, I know it's not a conference game, but it sets up everything moving forward, including the momentum and including the fan base being excited about that Tulane game and the rest of the schedule.
Talking to Greg Gass, and we're talking Tigers. And Greg, before we let you go, I do want to touch on some basketball with practice starting a couple days ago. But before we talk about this upcoming team, I know you were at practice yesterday. I want to get your thoughts on what you saw. But what did you make of this, update about Mikey Williams that the university put out yesterday?
Yeah, and nothing new, right? I mean, It's exactly what we thought. We had heard that he was taking some online classes, that he was still on the roster. Penny Hardaway is sometimes loyal to a fault, but I completely understand this one. Let the process go as far as it can go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe Mikey Williams will be a part of this program. Maybe in the future, if somehow he gets out of this thing with no felony charges and they're misdemeanors, I don't know. I'm not a legal consultant. I don't know how that's even possible, but they're doing it right, and he's going to continue to support young men and not throw him under the bus. So that did not surprise me whatsoever. You asked me about Mikey, but also with DeAndre, he said that maybe we'll find out, hopefully we'll find out here in the next few days, maybe in the early next week about Williams. I'm not real optimistic about that one either because of the NCAA, and they have been basically turning down everybody lately here as far as that is concerned. So I'm not sure if they will grant him his wish to be able to play another year. I'm hoping, my fingers are crossed, but you got to get that waiver, and the NCAA has been putting up the stop sign to a lot of waivers recently. But also to just dwell a little bit on what I saw here, not dwell, but to discuss a little bit what I saw, I was very impressed with the size of the team, the length of the team. Guards, remember last year, and it was good, Kendrick Davis was great.
Yeah.
But when you had guards out there that were Kendrick Davis and Alo's size, you had a very, very small backcourt. These guys are big. Jaquan Walton, who's a wing, is 6'7", 6'8", looks even taller.
Wow.
They have an extreme amount of size. They definitely can get it up and down the court. They were playing tenacious defense, and it was just their second practice. Shooting the ball from the outside pretty well. David Jones, I think, may be the steal of all the guys they got in the portal. Obviously, they have a legitimate center who can score and play defense in Jordan Brown. And some young guys that could really contribute right away. My question will be, how is he going to distribute minutes, and how is he going to keep everybody happy? Because this is a team that can go really, really deep, and I know that he's experimented with that in the past, and he doesn't want to go deep. But it's hard when two of the guys are your sons, right, and one is a guy who was almost like a son in Malco. So you kind of think that those guys are going to get their minutes, and there's talent up and down that roster. So I think this could be an extremely fun season, and a season that could take the Tigers to limits we haven't seen under Penny Hardaway.
Who is opening night point guard? Ball goes up in there, Tigers win the tip. They throw it to whom? to run the offense.
Quinterly will be the point guard, I'm pretty sure. Jalen Young, I think, will be the backup point guard. I'm guessing Quinterly as the starting point guard. He is really, really dynamic, really quick. Not one of the bigger guys, but still not real small like the backcourt last year. But I think that guy is he's shifty. I like to say he's shifty. He's got all the moves.
Well, he's got big shoes to fill because Kendrick Davis set a high bar.
But one thing he won't have to do is have to shoot the rock all the time because he has a lot of guys around him that can score the basketball, whereas Davis had to shoot, had to distribute, had to bring the ball up and down the court. And that just tells you how good Kendrick Davis was.
Kendrick had to do a little bit of everything last year for the Tigers. But, Greg, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do it again next week.
Yep, talk to you on Tuesday next week, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Greg. Greg Gaston with us, Talking Tigers. And it's been brought to you by our title sponsor of this hour. That's Hewlett and Dunn Boot and Jean on the historic square in Collierville since 1961. Charles Hall, he started working there in his teens, and now with his wife Laura, they own the place. It is their team, and they love being a part of the community, known for all the boots, but also clothing, accessories, caps, and a cap for any team for any season. Western wear, work boots, safety toe or soft toe or rubber boots, they've got them all. And for any occasion, you can get boots at Hewlett & Dunn, whether it's for dressy or for work or for casual. This weekend at all the tailgate spots, it will be a lot of boots there from Hewlett & Dunn. From head to toe, they have you covered with every brand imaginable. Dan Post, Ariat, Anderson Bean, whether for men or women, they got you covered.
Well, and like you said, it's not just the boots. Men's and women's clothing, jeans, pants, shirts, shorts, outerwear, and the best duck head collection you'll find. Charles and Laura Hall invite you to 111 North Center Street or to HewlettDunn.com on the square in Collierville. They also have the accessories, hats, sunglasses, boot care products in every area, team snapbacks, and cool hats you can think of. For the Tigers, Mississippi State, UT, Ole Miss, or the Razorbacks, they've got you covered. And for travel, their bag selection is absolutely top-notch. HewlettDunn.com, but please visit and say hello at 111 Center Street on the square in Collierville at Hewlett and Dunn. Let's get to a break. We need to get to one. When we come back, we're going to talk about what's trending. But first, here's another traffic update.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Still a lot of traffic flow coming over from West Memphis on 55 southbound across the bridge. It's busy, but it's a clear shot right now as you come off 240 onto 385 Billmores Parkway headed out towards Collierville. It's really starting to build on 40 East, passing Hollywood, Warford, headed towards White Station. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, they're back open. Go by and see them at 7525 Highway 64. That's Weimer's Jewelry. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination, has 27 delicious flavors to choose from and counting. Like the Buffalo Ranch, a perfect combo of ranch seasoning with a little kick. Mango Habanero, sweet taste of mango followed by the heat. Or sweet maple bourbon. The taste will remind you of chicken and waffles. And that's just 3 of the amazing 27 chicken wing seasonings that you can get at the Crazy Coop in Bartlett at 7199 Stage Road. And now open the Crazy Coop Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Some like it hot. How about the Crazy Sweet Lemon Pepper Hot or Crazy Suicide? Can't take the heat? Get the 4-cheese roasted garlic or barbecue bacon bourbon. Ask about the $9.99 lunch special. Now those are some crazy good prices. The Crazy Coop, 2 locations, 7199 Highway 64 between Applin and Kirby-Witten and 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Family owned and operated, The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Choate's is offering some amazing specials for this month only. If you're considering upgrading your furnace before the cold weather comes, Choate's is offering $1,000 off a new Carrier furnace. If you don't need a new furnace, Choate's is now offering its early bird $60 furnace tune-up. This 22-point tune-up includes a free carbon monoxide test and heat exchanger inspection. And Choate's is your indoor air quality expert for the best quality air air for you and your family, it's recommended to have your air ducts cleaned every 8 years. This month only, Choates will install a free UV light system when you get your air ducts cleaned, a $500 value. Call us at 347-8086 to take advantage of these amazing deals. So, turn to the experts with Choates, and remember, let our family serve your family.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair because they just don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance carriers each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. This is why you call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates and consultation and love to assist homeowners with their claims. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, and diagnosing problems is second to none. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. And the best part of all you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, Certainteed, Owens Corning, and even Mulehide. We offer best-in-class warranties on all of our jobs, up to 50 years. When it comes to roofs and restoration, call Metro Builders to schedule your free inspection. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Hey, sports fans, this is Ultimate Vegas Insider John Anthony, and I'm on fire. Prove it. I'm releasing your Monday Night Report absolutely free on recorded message line. Call 1-800-244-5506. I love tonight's matchup. Los Angeles-Cincinnati is a monster. Side and total. Los Angeles-Cincinnati. Critical information confirmed, plus Thursday's early release. That's 5 big plays. John Anthony has you covered. I love to go 5-0 free on a recorded message. 1-800-244-5506. Information wins. John Anthony Sports, #1 against the spread. Los Angeles, Cincinnati is huge. Call 1-800-244-5506. You want the information? I've got it. I love to go 5-0 or the season free. Call the recorded message line 1-800-244-5506. Critical information confirmed. I've got it. I love to go 5-0 or the season free. 1-800-244-5506 or go to johnanthonysports.com.
Sponsored by JFSR Group.
We interrupt this broadcast for special news and information concerning family leisure.
The world's biggest spa sale is back and bigger than ever at Family Leisure. How is that possible? Well, let me tell you. You start off with 50 different spa models to choose from 5 different manufacturers. Then you throw in up to 30% off in-stock spas and swim spas. But is that all? Oh, no. You get free upgrades on all in-stock spas, plus 24 months, same as cash. Wow! This is the kind of sale that you just can't have every day, but it's happening right now at Family Leisure, the world's biggest spa sale. Soak in the savings right now at Family Leisure, Witten Road and I-40. You know the place where family and fun come together.
Please remain calm and walk. Don't run to Family Leisure. And now back to your regular programming.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian and Brett with you for about 30 more minutes as we wrap up today's show, and we're getting closer and closer to more college football. We got 3 games tonight, a game tomorrow night, that full slate on Saturday, and I've said it before, I'm excited for these games tonight, but I'm really excited about the slate of games we have on Saturday.
And tomorrow night, I think Utah tomorrow night will be a fun watch. Plenty of good games tonight and tomorrow night. And I saw this on the X machine today from Rex Byers at Rex_Byers, Beyers. Want to give him credit. Mm-hmm. Ball State journalism alum, thoughts and opinions are his own. Only guy you'll ever interact with to work offshore. Europe, and in Vegas, free agent. Looks like a handicapper.
Wow. I love handicappers.
Great note, though. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready for it.
Tonight begins a stretch of there being at least one college football or NFL game for 54 of the next 55 days. Next Tuesday is the last scheduled day without one until November 22nd, the day before Thanksgiving.
Wow. That's beautiful, Brett. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. It really doesn't. Wow.
And all the NBA in there and all the college basketball be in there, the baseball playoffs.
Baseball. Whoa.
We'll just have it all the time. And this weekend, college game day for the first time ever at Duke. And we know here, and I know at Ole Miss, no time like the first time.
That's right.
And that time in 2014 for Ole Miss and for the Tigers here in the fall of 2019. Then when they came back to Ole Miss in the 2021 season, but it didn't feel like the first time. It was good in 2021, but really special. And for Duke on game day, you're going to have to help me out. The guest picker is, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I sure want to. Ken Jeong.
That's correct. That's correct. Kim Jong. He's a comedian. He's been in several movies. I haven't seen a ton of his. I know he's like in The Hangover, those type of movies.
I don't know his work. Is he funny?
Yeah, he's pretty funny. He's a pretty funny guy. He's on The Masked Singer on Fox.
That's the very first criterion of being a comedian is to be funny.
Brett, it's pretty high up there on being funny as being a comedian. I mean, you got to have that.
I knew a person that once would try to do some takes and some skits and try to be funny, and it failed right out of the gate because they weren't funny.
Well, I mean, hey, look, you can go a long way in being a comedian if you're funny. Not so much if you're not funny. And a lot of the unfunny comedians think they're funny.
Masked Singer, who's the personalities on that? Who are the judges on that? Is that the Jenny McCarthy show?
Brett, you're going to have to let me
is
look
she
it
part
up.
Of that team?
I'm not sure. I don't watch The Masked Singer.
I don't watch any of the singing and dancing shows.
I know Kim Jong is one of the judges for that. Let's see. Jenny McCarthy's on it. Robin Thicke is on it, and there's maybe one other on there, but those are the ones I'm seeing right now. Nick Cannon,
the lovely and gracious Heidi Klum, isn't she on one of those?
No, she's on America's Got Talent. She's America's Got Talent. So
gotcha.
Different show. The Masked Singers where they come out in like a ridiculous costume and they sing, and I guess I've only seen like one episode of it. I think the whole like idea of it is they're supposed to guess who's the masked singer by like their voice or whatever, and they give them like some clues of who they might be.
Is it somebody that has a singing background? I mean, would be somebody like Daryl Hall under an outfit, or
so sometimes. So like I know like T-Pain won it one year, and obviously he's a singer, but like also like Victor Oladipo has been on it.
Oh really?
Yeah, there's been some other athletes I think that have been on it as well, but I know he's been on it because he has a really beautiful voice, and I had no idea until that video kind of started circulating around that Victor Oladipo has a beautiful voice. But it's just celebrities. I mean, it can be actors, singers, athletes, different types of celebrities. It's a terrible show. I would not recommend it. But if you like it, hey, good for you.
Any known Duke connection to Ken Jeong?
I think he went to school there.
Did he? Okay.
So he got his bachelor's degree at Duke. So he started there, and then for his MD, he went to North Carolina. So a little bad blood there. I mean, starting at Duke and then finishing at North Carolina, I don't know that. But yeah, got his bachelor's at Duke, so strong connections there.
Do you know how smart you have to be to do either one of those undergrad and then go to the other ones? Same with Harvard and Yale. And it's why it's just preposterous. I'm not even going to get into a political candidate one time that people say, his dad got him in. It was George W. Bush. Went undergrad to Yale and got his MBA at Harvard.
Wow.
The first people the Harvard admissions board is looking to call, looking to veto, looking to nix would be somebody with a Yale undergrad degree.
Oh yeah.
And same with North Carolina and Duke. for you to get in, for you to do one of those under and then get grad if there, you're not. It's not because somebody made calls for you. You got to be you got to be pretty smart. At least,
yeah. Well,
because they're looking to veto them. I mean, North Carolina to veto a Duke guy or Harvard to veto a Yale guy or gal, they would love that. They dream of that.
Yeah. So, I didn't know all this about him. He did medical residency at North Carolina, graduated there with his MD, and then became a physician in Los Angeles, I believe, and worked at a hospital. And then
wait a second. This guy's been on game day before somewhere, I think. I'm remembering this bio now.
Let me see.
Has he been guest picker anywhere before? Has he been at North Carolina?
Yeah. He's been at UCLA, Utah. I don't know why he was at that game, but he was on that one, and he had a very funny line that
now.
I cannot say on the air. But it was funny. It was a good,
like
it was
the Katy
a good
Perry
joke.
line about South Carolina's nickname. We cannot go there.
Yes, we cannot go there. But it was funny, and every time college football starts, somebody posts that video. You're absolutely right. He was on game day before.
I do remember that wasn't that long ago, was it?
No, it looks like maybe just like 2 years ago.
Okay. I remember that now in Power 5 schools, it leaves Cal, Illinois, Virginia, Rutgers, and Maryland is the only people not to host, and I don't see any of those getting.
I was about to say, who's next on that list to get game day?
Well, I say that about Maryland. Maryland's undefeated, aren't they?
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure they are. And Talia Tagovailoa is having a good year.
He is having
a
good
year statistically.
It looks like they are undefeated. Towson, Charlotte, Virginia, Michigan State. So not going through death's row. But, yeah, they are undefeated. But looking at the rest of their schedule, maybe if they can continue winning, they could pull a big upset against Ohio State and could set up a ranked versus ranked showdown on November 4th at Maryland against Penn State. That could be a game day game. I mean, very cold, but could be a game day game.
Well, it sure could be.
Yeah.
So maybe Greg Gaston's alma mater, Maryland.
But you got to get through number 4 Ohio State before that would happen.
Yeah, don't see it for any of the rest of them. Rutgers 3-1, UVA hadn't won a game. Illinois struggling. Have you seen the interception total at Illinois for Luke Altmaier, the Ole Miss transfer?
I have not. What is
4
it?
touchdowns passing, 7 interceptions.
Ooh, yikes.
I'm surprised at that. I wouldn't have thought he would have been that careless with the ball.
I was about to say, I mean, in the times I saw him at Ole Miss, very steady Eddie and kind of, very protective of the ball. So that does surprise me.
Yeah, just wasn't gonna start at Ole Miss and needed a place to go, and that's why I like so much the player liberation and the freedom for them to be able to look. I don't want to be stuck here. I'm going to go somewhere. Everybody in Ole Miss world feared it would be to Mississippi State, where he was from in high school, and I think his dad either was or is still the team physician at State. So when he landed in Illinois, I was glad for him and. Really nice young guy. They got the short straw having to come in for Matt Corral in the Sugar Bowl against Baylor.
Yeah, and that's tough. But I mean, you talk about former Ole Miss quarterback. I mean, John Rice Plumlee, same thing down at UCF now. I think he's injured. I don't think he played in the last game because of an injury, but having a pretty good year down at UCF. So that is one thing I love. With a lot of people talking bad about the transfer portal and having things to say about it. One thing about it is if you go in there and you just can't find that starting spot, I mean, you can get out of there and go to a different place. And it seems like a lot of these coaches around the country
and try to live your dream.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of these coaches are open to that. Like, look, I recruited you. I've built this relationship with you. I want you to go succeed somewhere, so I'm going to let you go out and find another place where that potentially you could start at.
It is every weekend I'm watching a game and hear a name go, I didn't know he was there. And you informed me earlier today that who the quarterback was at Sam Houston State.
That's right.
Or Sam Houston.
Grant
Now they
Gunnell,
dropped State.
yeah, sure did.
Yeah.
But speaking of college football, I asked Bill Bender about it, and it's kind of been out there for a while now, but now it seems like really getting some strong legs under it. The Ross Dellinger report earlier today that Army and the American Athletic Conference are in deep negotiations that could be complete in the coming weeks. So we've known that this seems to be the way the American wants to go with Army, but what would you make of seeing that we could be getting the announcement next week that Army will be a part of the American?
I'm not surprised. I don't know how enthusiastic I am about it. Bill was a little more than I am.
Sure.
And I didn't want to be disagreeable with a very, very nice guest. It doesn't do a lot for me. I sure don't want to be critical of West Point and what it represents. But I'm not wild about somebody that's not in for every sport.
Yeah.
But we're going to that around some of these mega super conferences. There's just no way. Okay, maybe football and men's basketball, maybe football, men's basketball, and baseball. That's going to be close to some places. I mean, we could have to regionally, almost like barnstormers, get together and draw up a loose confederation of a league to have a lot of these sports exist as we know it. And we know because of Title IX, because of federal law, with the U.S. Department of Education, and nothing should happen to any of the non-revenue female sports. They're going to exist. So people can say all they want. We'll get rid of this or get rid of that. Nothing's being gotten rid of. It's not going to happen. But we may have to come up with a new way to play out a schedule that makes any sense for time, travel, and budget.
Yeah, you're right. Well, and then, I mean, that is absolutely one side of it. But also, I mean, take a school like Gonzaga. I mean, you really think in 10 years Gonzaga is just going to be kind of hanging out there in the West Coast Conference? I'm sure at some point when we get to these mega conferences, one of these conferences is going to go, you know what? It might be a silly move, but we have a strong football deal going on right now. Let's go get Gonzaga and add them for basketball. I mean, it's going to happen at some point. We were close with the Big 12.
They kind of shot their shot this summer, though, didn't they? It felt like it was close.
It felt like it was really close.
There are so many great stories out there on the summer of Brett Yormark, and I go back again. He was here, and I don't think anybody saw the complete disintegration of the pack. It's down to two teams. And if that doesn't happen, if it stays viable in some form, I really do believe a late July, early August announcement was going to be made about Memphis and the Big 12. I think it was really close. So it can't be that far off in the future for something. Absolutely. If you're that close summer of 2023, what's 2024 got in store?
That's a great point, Brett, because nobody saw what happened this year with the Pac-12.
Nobody.
Or even the Big 12 expanding more and adding the four more schools that they did.
And you're seeing rumblings out there about Clemson in the SEC right now.
Yeah. So I mean, and even going back further with the ACC, I mean, Florida State is seemingly unhappy in the ACC. There are a couple schools in there that you could see moving from the ACC. So this is far from over. I mean, I think a lot of people still think that or think after the big move, okay, that's it for a while. But this stuff is never going to stop.
Never ends.
No, it
never ends. It's like. I mean, our trip around the sun, we're always trying to circle around it.
We're always moving, and that just seems the same thing with conference realignment. But let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
Hi, this is Jonah Gamble, left guard for University of Memphis football. Let us help you use your home's value for all those projects or vacations you've been putting off. Now you can borrow up to 100% loan to value. No closing costs for loans $50,000 or less. Online banking accessible. Interest-only payments for the first 10 years. You can apply at southernsecurity.org or by calling our member service team at 901-452-7900. Southern Security is an equal housing lender. Southern Security is a proud sponsor of the University of Memphis.
My friends at Miramichi are always innovative. They've got a new thing going I think you're going to like. They have a staggered rate pertaining to what time of day it is. You can get a better price if you go in the later afternoon than you will in the morning or in the afternoon. From noon to 3, there is a $10 savings. There's about a $13 savings from 3 until close. You can't beat all of the innovations or the beauty at Miramichi. And folks are flocking. No longer can you get a membership. There's a waiting list, but that's how popular Miramichi has become. And why wouldn't it? You've got different levels of competition. You have 5 different tee boxes you can choose from ultra hard to ultra fun. The thing that's a constant is the beauty. The back 9 is like taking a walk through the woods with a meandering stream, and there's a waterfall you'll love. Everything about Miramichi is cool. Go check it out in Woodstock, 12 minutes north of downtown. It's Miramichi.
Scott Graham here from Westwood One. Primetime NFL action is coming up from Lambeau Field in Green Bay when the Packers host the Detroit Lions. Both are 2-1, coming off a win last week. Now they face off for the early NFC North lead. Ian Eagle and Hall of Famer Joe Thomas will have the call, on air and on the free live stream sponsored by AutoZone on Thursday Night Football.
Right here on Sports 56.
Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed, when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. Hey, in New York, right now I'm looking at all of the unders for Jets' offensive numbers. Passing yards, touchdowns, receiving yards. I'm looking at all the unders in New York. So visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win, FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
21 plus and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789.
All 36 months, 650 acquisition fee, 40 LSX, PE 678605, MSRP 21610, Nero P507859, MSRP 41090, EV6 P5610964, MSRP 49687, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/2/2023 with approved credit dealer.com.
Hey, Jeff Allen, I hear Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah is about to blow my socks off.
That's right, Randy. Get 41 MPG Highway with the 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $229 a month, $29.99 due at signing.
What about those cool new EVs?
I've got EV action with the 2023 Nero EV Win SUV, 253 miles of EPA, estimated range $269 a month, $49.99 due at signing. And the 2023 Kia EV6 Win, 134 city, 101 highway MPGE, $399 a month, $49.99 due at signing. Plus, you'll get a free charger with every EV purchase, all 36-month lease.
And Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn, Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
This is Geraldo. It is crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye. Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Brett, what I learned today is that Travis Hunter and Colorado State's Henry Blackburn went bowling together yesterday. A video has been posted on Travis Hunter's YouTube channel about it. The two have been communicating since Henry Blackburn, who is the one that had that late hit that ended up lacerating Travis Hunter's liver and has caused him to be out for these 3 weeks. But they have been communicating the past couple of days, and they went bowling yesterday, did a video about it. They donated some money to charity. And all of it, Travis Hunter said that, he wanted people to know that there's no bad blood between them, that it is a football play. Accidents happen, things happen sometimes in football. So I think for Travis Hunter, who is a really young guy, I think about myself when I was in college just a couple of years ago, but to be able to be that big of a man with a lot of people behind you saying, oh man, he did you wrong, he hurt you on purpose, he did that on purpose, but for him to be big enough to go and say, let's meet up, let's show people that there's no bad blood at all between us, I thought it was really cool to see.
On and off the field, maybe the most impressive college football player of the year, playing both ways for Coach Sanders' Colorado Buffaloes. What I learned, Saturday will be the 80th all-time meeting between A&M and Arkansas. Will be the 12th meeting at AT&T Stadium. All together now, Jerry's World. A&M 10-1 in Arlington at the edifice of Mr. Razorback, Mr. Jerry. Always a close game, always thrilling, and I know a lot of Razorback fans that are going Saturday and staying Sunday for the Cowboys.
Oh, that will be a lot of fun. What I could have done without is the performance last night from the Seattle Mariners. I've talked about it earlier this week. I talked with John about it earlier today. That front office has said for more than a year now that they were going to go out in free agency and spend. And when you look at that lineup and what they've done this year, they need to do some more spending. They need to look at some of these pieces they have, especially down that lineup.
They're close.
And they are very close. But they need to use this offseason to really go out and round out this roster. And when you look last year, Teoscar Hernandez was the big pickup in the offseason, and he's had times where he's been really good. A big defensive error last night in that game. But for the Mariners, I don't know what they'll do this weekend against the Rangers, but that really was a must-win game last night against the Astros. They weren't able to do it. A pretty one-sided affair last night for Houston, but it should be fun watching this weekend to see what happens in the AL West.
I could have done without the check swing last night that you could clearly hear hit the bat and see fouled into foul territory, into the ground behind home plate in the Braves Cubs game. The umps missed it.
Yep.
It couldn't be reviewed. Huh?
Crazy.
And
we're reviewing everything.
Could be changed. What if that happens over the next month, late in the game? Never have I been so sure of something as this. We're going to have a PR nightmare
I think you're
come
right.
out of baseball at some point in October with Manfred over there with that look on his face like, I just work here. What, me do something?
Yep, you're absolutely right. Where are you beaming tonight?
Beam me to Titletown, NFL Mayberry, home of Lombardi, Starr, Horning, Favre, White, Rogers, Lambeau Field, made famous by winners and Cole Games, and John Facenda, Lions-Packers.
I like that. That's a good one. Beam me up to Chicago tonight. I'm wearing the Blackhawks sweater tonight. Connor Bedard will make his preseason NHL debut with the Blackhawks. That's at 7:30 tonight on NHL Network. Beam me up there to see this guy that some people say could be the best hockey player we've seen in a while.
I'm going to watch Rich Rod tonight. In the history of coaches I've ever been around, nobody could cuss more beautifully than Rich Rod. He could use some words as adjectives, verbs, nouns, anything.
That's great. That's beautiful. Well, that's all the time we have. Enjoy your night. Obviously, a lot of college football to watch tonight, but enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock.
Jenkins Floors and More in Hernando is growing. This family business started up 5 years ago with just one pallet, and now they have hundreds. Tim, the owner, gets calls from people everywhere and can sometimes save them up to 50% on wood flooring, carpet, tile, and vinyl. Jenkins Floors and More helps with renovations, home building, and installation. Jenkins Floors and More, number 6 East Commerce Street in Hernando. Also in Little Rock and coming soon to Tennessee. Call 662-469-9350 for more information.
It's time to go where the season takes you, and it's the season for savings at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Go for miles more with 43 MPG Highway in your 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage. $17,815 or $229 a month. 2024 Eclipse Cross eludes sleek and sporty style at $29,695 or $399 a month. Discover the new 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SUV with third row and 7-passenger seating. Now $29,885 or $449 a month. And they're all equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. We're ready to put you in a new ride today at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 84 months, Mirage RH 00782, MSRP 18315, Eclipse RZ 001693, MSRP 30445, Outlander RZ 005762, MSRP 31385. Includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Sports and blinds, they just go together. And right now, all Sports 56 listeners get $50 off any order at Blinds Etc. South. Real wood, 3.5 to 4.5 inch plantation shutters made in the Mid-South are always affordable at Blinds Etc. South. And now get $50 off your order. Get your free in-home consultation at 901-681-0225 or go to blindsetcetera.southllc.com. Upgrade your home with custom-made plantation shutters and window treatments from Blinds Etc. South.
I feel good shopping at DriveMax. DriveMax, you get value.
Need a car that screams I feel good? DriveMax has it all. From cars to SUVs, find a tightly inspected used car that'll have you dancing all the way home. Call 901-664-2424 or visit DriveMaxApproval.com.
DriveMax, I got approved.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn